Hey guys, tonight we're not sailing into the grimy, splintery world of pirates. No greasy bandanas, no treasure maps that somehow always look like burnt tortillas, and no starving sailors arguing about who drank the last drop of stale rainwater. Nope, tonight we're stepping into something far more awe-inspiring, mysterious, and quietly powerful. The world of the Quran, the most memorized book on earth. A book carried not on ships or hidden in chests, but held in the hearts of millions, young, old, rich, poor, from every corner of the planet. But before we dive into all that divine wonder, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you actually enjoy what I do here. Don't click anything out of guilt. We're not collecting spiritual taxes. Go ahead and leave a comment telling me where you're listening from and what time it is for you. Somehow, it's always 2 a.m. somewhere. And honestly, this topic is exactly the kind of thing people think about at 2 a.m. When the world gets quiet, the lights get soft, and your mind starts asking big questions. Now dim those lights. Turn on a fan for that gentle white noise breeze. Sink deeper into whatever you're lying on, bed, couch, or the floor because you just needed a moment. And maybe tuck your feet in. Not because rats might nibble your toes this time, but because we're entering a story where the only things sneaking up on you are amazement, curiosity, and a surprising sense of peace. Let's pause for a second. Have you ever wondered what it actually means for a book to be memorized, word for word, by millions of people? Not summarized, not approximated, not almost right except for that one verse. Fully, perfectly, recited the same way from Cairo to Kuala Lumpur to Kansas. How does that even happen? Why this book? What makes its structure, rhythm, and sound so unique that even children who don't speak Arabic can memorize pages with ease? And how did a message delivered in the deserts of 7th century Arabia become a living, breathing tradition, passed from heart to heart for over 1,400 years? Tonight, we're wandering through the secrets behind the world's most memorized text, how it was preserved, how its recitation works, why its patterns are unlike anything in literature, and how people across history risked everything, comfort, safety, even their lives, to keep it alive exactly as it was revealed. But don't worry, we're not sprinting through theology or diving into heavy debates. We're moving slowly, gently, like tracing your finger along old calligraphy by candlelight. Tonight is about calm curiosity, quiet wonder, and that soft 2 a.m. kind of magic that whispers, there's more to this story. So settle in, let your mind slow down, let the room grow still. Feel the peaceful weight of history settling around you, not heavy, but warm, like a blanket woven from time, memory, and meaning. Ready? Let's begin. Chapter 1. A grand, illuminated manuscript in a vast hall. In a hall so vast that its boundaries fade into darkness, a gentle stillness hangs in the air. The space feels ancient, solemn, and untouched by time, as though it exists somewhere between the earthly world and the realm of the unseen. Echoes do not dare to linger here. Even the faintest footstep would soften itself out of respect. And at the very center of this great emptiness stands a single pedestal, carved from stone as smooth as flowing water. Upon this pedestal rests a grand, illuminated manuscript, open, unguarded, and yet perfectly safe, as if the hall itself has sworn to protect it. A soft, ancient glow radiates from its pages. Not bright, not blinding, but warm, steady, and alive, like the glow of a lantern held in loving hands. The light spills gently across the pedestal, casting graceful patterns on the floor, patterns that seem to shift like the delicate ripples of ink across parchment. The room around it remains dim, allowing the manuscript to shine as the true heart of this silent sanctuary. The manuscript is only symbolic here, not a replica of any physical text, but a representation, a reminder of a message preserved through hearts, voices, and generations. Its pages appear impossibly elegant. Gold leaf catches the soft radiance, glowing like stars pressed into the margins. The scripts curve with an artistry that feels both human and divine, delicate, balanced, intentional. You can almost imagine the meticulous care of the scribes who once devoted their nights to preserving every stroke, every vowel, every contour with reverence. Their dedication lives here still, gently woven into every line. But beyond the physical beauty of the manuscript, the glow symbolizes something far greater, a preservation not bound by ink, paper, or time, a preservation carried in memory, guarded in devotion, whispered through centuries by countless voices. Perfect, unchanged, eternal. The hall feels expectant, as though it remembers those voices, children reciting for the first time, teachers patiently guiding, elders whose memories hold entire chapters with ease. Their echoes do not disturb the silence, they enrich it. The manuscript's glow seems to pulse softly, like a heartbeat, as though the preservation of its words is alive within every generation that learned them. A faint breeze, impossible in such an enclosed space, drifts gently through the hall. The light responds, shimmering ever so slightly, revealing the depth of the script's artistry. It is a reminder that the words preserved here have crossed deserts, oceans, languages, and empires, always remaining untouched in meaning and form. Not a letter lost, not a rhythm broken. In the stillness, the hall becomes a metaphor for the world itself, vast, varied, full of change, while the manuscript remains its constant center. Empires rise and fall, languages shift, civilizations reshape themselves, but the glow on the pedestal does not flicker. It stands calm, steady, and unwavering, like truth anchored in eternity. As you continue to observe the radiant pages, a gentle understanding settles over the scene. This manuscript, glowing softly in the quiet hall, is not celebrated for its physical existence alone. Its true preservation lives within people, millions upon millions, whose hearts became the real pages, whose voices became the ink, whose memories became the eternal vault. Silent but powerful. Fragile in appearance, but unbreakable in reality. The hall grows softer, almost dreamlike, as though recognizing that this preservation is not a miracle of paper, but a miracle of devotion. The light remains warm, still illuminating the empty space around it, symbolizing a truth held carefully across generations. That some words are not merely remembered, they are protected, guarded, loved, and in that love, they are preserved perfectly, forever. Chapter 2. Echoes of Enlightenment. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Tonight we're diving into something melodious, more captivating than a late-night infomercial promising you the ultimate stovetop that also serves as a disco ball. Get ready to be swept away to 610 CE, a time where the average person utilized their vivid imagination, much like your uncle at family gatherings, to convince you how he totally met Elvis in a dream. You wondered what it was like to robustly debate the existential meanings of life while attempting to memorize somewhat complex poetry under the watchful eyes of a hawk that could probably win a staring contest with anyone? Or perhaps you found yourself contemplating deep philosophical questions while avoiding family drama as gracefully as one dodges a flying date at an Eid party. Well, dear listener, tonight, all your curiosities will be answered as we uncover the resonating sounds of ancient Arabic, a language filled with musicality and wisdom from ages past. Congratulations! You've just woken up in 610 CE. The air is warm, but the ambience is anything but stagnant. You hear the gentle rustle of palms and the distant echoes of laughter and prayer drifting through the marketplace. Vibrant colors from an array of stalls clash in a delightful display. Think of a kaleidoscope that somehow took a personality test and landed on exuberant. Now, close your eyes and picture this. The sun hangs lazily in a cerulean sky as you float through a world where the sound waves created by lips uttering musical Arabic ripple through the air like the enchanting melody of a beloved song. Each word is not merely spoken, It dances, it sings, and creates visible ripples of light and peace. Imagine this picturesque vibration soothing your soul, making you feel as if it's offering an ancient, living guide to existence itself. Ah, there you stand, surrounded by merchants exchanging their wares and wisdom, their voices weaving through the tapestry of commerce like a matchmaker who forgot to include a manual. Here, you wish you could harness this rich language and bring it back to the present to impress your friends with your newfound linguistic flair. Ever thought about reciting poetry, only to have your cats respond with unimpressed stares? Imagine the looks you'd get. Oh, is that a couplet in Arabic? How avant-garde! Back in 610 CE, there exists a community bursting with creativity and a thirst for knowledge. The people around you listen intently, their faces lit with intrigue as they absorb the melodious verse of the Quran being recited, a living entity in their midst. It's like the evening news, but much more fascinating and devoid of unnecessary melodrama about celebrity mishaps. As the words cascade through the air, it's as if they're caressing the fabric of time itself, binding generations together in this enchanting narrative. Those who listen closely find themselves drawn into the story, a collective experience not merely to admire, but to live and breathe. Each verse serves as a mantra, carrying the essence of patience, kindness, and love, outlined in poetic strokes that find harmony even in the complexities of life. And imagine the beauty of reciting the Quran amidst these welcoming crowds, each listener nodding along, savoring the sacred text, not unlike how a cafe full of oversaturated coffee drinkers perks up at the sound of a well-timed joke. The anticipation builds. Would they, for a moment, forget their worries in a world that sometimes felt like juggling fire sticks while rollerblading downhill? You can't help but think about how each recitation ripples through the collective consciousness of those gathered, glimmers of hope igniting their hearts like fireflies on a quiet summer night. It captivates young and old alike, a universal language that vibrates upon the strings of the human experience. Can you hear the soft chuckles shared among the crowd when someone stumbles over a difficult verse, just like you trying to navigate your cousin's quirky jokes at a family gathering? As the recitation flows on, soothing tensions like a balm on a tender ache, each listener finds solace and wisdom in the sound, a dynamic engagement with the divine. While the evening unfolds, let's pause for a moment to relish the hilarious, sometimes absurd situations that occur when the seriousness of life intertwines with the enchanting weight of Arabic. Perhaps someone exaggerates their ability to memorize verses, claiming they could recite the entire Quran backward while hopping on one foot. The laughter that spills forth, which is frequently a powerful tonic, merely amplifies the atmosphere of camaraderie and learning. As you absorb these moments, remember that the words are dynamic. They're not static engravings on a forgotten tablet. They are a living guide that spark mental fireworks, igniting inquiries and debates for generations to follow. The streets feel charged, alive, and pulsing with ancient wisdom, proving that even in the distant past, human connection and mutual discovery danced vividly together. Isn't it amazing? The echoes of this early Islamic period resonate through history, a living testimony precisely of how language can connect hearts amidst the wilderness of existence, just like how a good cup of tea can spark a late-night conversation that lasts till sunrise. As the sun sets past the horizon, taking with it the golden hues of daylight, you find a sense of peace wash over you. You can almost feel the vibrations of shared stories linger in the air, offering tiny glimpses of hope and resilience, a continuous reminder of the significance of kindness and understanding, transcending even your wildest expectations. So, as you drift deeper into this history lesson, wrapped in soothing melodies and playful banter, remember, your opportunity to embody this ancient wisdom begins now. The world waiting for your own stories and melodies, for you to join the eternal string of language, connection, and love that continues to ripple through time. May every Uma-shaped echo of knowledge secure a warm spot in your heart, leading you on your journey toward discovery, connection, and a sprinkle of delightful humor. Let's embrace this wisdom tonight and allow it to settle and nestle deep into our dreams, inviting us into the grand tapestry of humanity filled with love, laughter, and eternal lessons. As we softly transition beyond this chapter, keep the echoes of wisdom alive in your heart and soul. May the resonance of kindness guide you as you navigate the complexities of life. If you've enjoyed this whimsical and enriching dive into history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with friends. Only if you found a sparkle of joy, of course. Until we embark on yet another enchanting journey together, may you float into dreamland, cradled by whispers of wisdom and hand-picked nuggets of laughter fluttering around you. Good night, dear friends, and sleep sweetly. Chapter 3. The Night of Revelation. Salam alaikum, dear listeners. Tonight we find ourselves beneath a vast expanse of stars, shimmering like your auntie's poorly done sequins. Imagine the serene yet bewildering landscape of the Arabian desert around the year 610 CE, when candles were for rich folks, and every shadow felt like the creep of something unseen. As you sink deeper into your pillows, think about the real essentials, like whether or not it's socially acceptable to bring hummus to a wedding. Spoiler alert, it is. But put your thoughts on snacks aside for a moment, because this tale is about to dive into the deep and divine. Much like the time you accidentally dove into that pool at your neighbor's barbecue. Talk about unexpected cannonballs. Now, if you enjoy the soothing sounds of ancient whispers and spontaneous, miraculous revelations, who doesn't, right? Why not give us a thumbs up, subscribe if you like, and leave a comment about the most ridiculous thing you've ever done at a social gathering. But only if you actually enjoy this. So, let's dim those lights, turn on that fan for the perfect climate, because nobody wants a sweaty slumber, and get cozy. Have you ever wondered about what it might feel like to experience a sudden flash of divine light on your average Tuesday night? How the silence of the desert might compare to your noisy upstairs neighbors bickering over the last packet of chips? Whether our friend Muhammad, peace be upon him, enjoyed his midnight snacks before receiving messages from the cosmos, or if he was just trying to meditate without the distraction of a lingering aroma of goat curry. Congratulations! You've just woken up in 610 CE. Imagine it's a quiet, moonlit night in the Arabian desert, the kind of night you would wear your best woolen robe for, if you had one. The roar of a distant sandstorm is muted, almost like your most recent family gathering, where conversations flow like the Nile, but intelligence levels drop like a low-budget sitcom. Yet here, in this mystical time, a solitary figure, none other than the beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, seated by a small, flickering fire, gazes into the vastness above. The warm, crackling fire resembles your in-laws' persistence at trying to grill a perfect kebab, but somehow turning it into a charcoal art project instead. That comforting scent of roasted meat, like family gatherings, fills the air with culinary hope and nostalgia, giving way to the celestial. As you settle into his company, the air shifts. A brilliant flash of light pierces the night, illuminating not just the sands, but the very essence of existence itself. You might chuckle at how the brightness feels like the morning sun zooming in on a Monday after a long weekend, yet strange excitement tingles through the atmosphere. What could this possibly mean? The prophet, ever the humble man, stands bewildered, yet curious, like when you find a strange fruit in the market, half questioning if it'll taste like the glory of a bright sun or the bitterness of nail polish remover. The angel Gabriel, with all the grandeur of 1,000 gold chandeliers, appears before him. Imagine the look on his face, the kind you might sport if someone offered you a free trip to your dream vacation spot with all expenses paid, but also a pet rock named Jerry. "Read," Gabriel commands, his voice enveloped in otherworldly authority. And the prophet, feeling unprepared, like that time you tried to remember the exact recipe for couscous while half asleep, responds, "I am not a reader." He feels a tightening embrace, almost like that awkward hug from your aunt at family reunions, repeated 3 times. Read. And in this cosmic drama, the exchange continues until, at last, with a heart racing like your weekend bingo nights, the first words of the Quran echo in the night air. Read, in the name of your Lord, who created. A simple command, igniting a divine narrative embraced by all of humanity. His heart swells as he realizes the gravity of such a message. This might feel akin to when you first catch a glimpse of your crush, only to discover they look like an Egyptian god. Pure magic, radiating, complete with fireworks. This event wasn't merely about words. It was a revelation, sprinkled liberally across 23 remarkable years. A gradual guide for people much like yourself, dealing with life's quirky hiccups. Soon, laughter rolls in, compliance with divine timing, as every successive message flows into the tapestry of life. The weariness of the night slowly transforms into the anticipation of what wisdom might come next, each moment igniting thoughts of purpose and a sense of belonging. Just imagine, among the whispers of the stars, the world itself is watching. Who wouldn't raise an eyebrow while chowing down on those questionable desert snacks? As you drift through this celestial night, remember that our friend Muhammad, peace be upon him, was just a man, grappling with thoughts bigger than the dunes before him, receiving instructions to share a message of peace, truth, and profound wisdom. The solitude of the desert night envelops you as the warmth of the fire continues to flicker, reflecting a promise that has outlasted time itself and can feed your soul as surely as any hearty meal. What does it feel like to be a part of this remarkable dance of divine intervention? As you lay here, let the intoxicating glow of the eternal promise linger in your dreams. It's time to ease into slumber, feeling gratitude for the journey that began on a night when the universe unfolded its magnificent creation through humble yet profound guidance, illuminating the hearts of everyone willing to listen. Let the sands of time flow through your mind, reshaping thoughts, anchoring dreams, and guiding your spirit toward tranquility. Until we meet again in the rich tapestry woven by faith, may peace, serenity accompany your rest, and whispering winds remind you of the beauty lurking in the silence of the universe. Continuing with our journey, there's so much more to unveil. Until next time, dear friends, sleep tight and remember, the stars have their stories, and tonight, you are part of one. Chapter 4. The Mosaic of Faith. As we delve deeper into our journey under the starlit canopy of the Arabian desert, let's take a moment to appreciate the beauty and complexity of divine wisdom. Much like a stunning Persian carpet crafted from thousands of vibrant threads, each uniquely placed to create a vivid masterpiece. Imagine, if you will, that every piece of this intricate tapestry represents a story, lesson, or divine command woven together to form the essence of faith and guidance. Just like how trying to find a missing sock in your laundry feels like a national crisis. A crisis, I might add, destined to bear a family resemblance to a never-ending mystery. The year is still 610 CE, and we are seated beside the humble prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, as he digests all the new wonders that come with divine communication. A new world is blossoming around him, filled with questions, challenges, and promises cloaked in golden phrases. The teachings received are like jewels tucked away, waiting to be unearthed by curious minds, a treasure trove of wisdom that is both timeless and timely. Now, since we're here, consider the absurdity of it all. Have you ever tried assembling IKEA furniture while half asleep, only to realize halfway through that you've been using the wrong instructions? Much like unrolling one of those famous carpets, You know there's a perfect way, yet the mess of your attempt looks more like a chaotic spaghetti tangle only fit for a cat to play with. Well, our beloved prophet was not so much assembling flat-pack furniture, but piecing together divine instructions to formulate a cohesive lifestyle. A mosaic of faith that is far more intricate than your last family board game night. Let's explore one such divine lesson famously embedded within this sacred tapestry. As you unwind in your coziness, take a mental journey to the bustling marketplaces of Mecca. The aromas of incense and spices mingle, dancing around as laughter and bargaining fill the air. Yet there's something heavier in the atmosphere too. Questions about morality and justice. Ever wondered what it might be like to receive a message about honesty while you're trying to haggle down a price for a rather questionable-looking camel? In moments like these, every revealed verse was more than just words. They were keys to understanding oneself in a world swirling with distractions. You have the attributes of honesty, it says. You uphold the ties of kinship. In a simple sentence, wisdom bursts forth, affecting not only the prophet, but also the lives of countless others around him. People in the streets started pondering these commands seriously, feeling that flutter of enlightenment ringing true like the warning bell for your last slice of pizza, which, if you're anything like me, is always worth fighting for. The everyday trials of a merchant or a wanderer became avenues for exploration into the nature of faith, truth, and compassion. Imagine a neighborhood debate club sprouting in Mecca's foamy coffee houses, lively discussions about the virtues revealed, much like your friends arguing over who takes the last guanciale sandwich, but with a lot more gravity involved. Moreover, let's not forget the humor of it all. As the prophet discovered the depth of his role, it's likely he experienced those delightful moments of realization. Picture him sorting through divine warnings, chuckling at the very human tendency to sneak an extra date or two when one believes they're alone. Who knew divine instructions would hold you accountable even for late-night snacks? Wouldn't that revelation come with a certain kind of giggle? This divine exploration wasn't merely about receiving orders. It was about personal growth, a genuine mosaic forming piece by piece through struggles and awakenings. Much like that time you realized the lighting in your living room is perfect for a thoughtful Instagram post, but your actual life redesign still remains a cluttered mess. With each revelation over the coming years, a beautifully intricate design began to take shape, guiding the way, enabling even the simplest of folks to tap into something far bigger than themselves. Each command to read or believe blossomed into more than just a directive. It became a source of empowerment. The humans involved, ordinary as they were, became the canvas upon which Allah painted his intricate masterpiece. The tales of patience would ripple through generations, reflecting Quranic promises, blessings, and the highs and lows of everyday life. As you lay your head gently against the pillow, consider this. Every verse of the Quran has a thread that pulls you back. Whether you're stargazing on a gentle desert night or navigating the busy streets of today. The unique beauty of this divine revelation lies in its seamlessness. No matter how tangled, knotted, or bewildering life becomes, the wise guidance of Allah has a way of making everything feel as grand as a blooming desert flower popping through the sand. So let the dreams of harmony and compassion dance in your sleep, embracing the notion that you are a vital part of this magnificent mosaic. The stories of faith, wisdom, and growth represented throughout history are meant to inspire and guide, just as your cherished family stories cherish laughter over loads around a dinner table. Until the stars whisper the next chapter of this beautiful journey, drift away and feel an essence of gratitude lingering lightly above your conscious thoughts, like the gentle sway of a night breeze. Sleep tight. Feel free to let me know if you'd like adjustments or other details added to enhance the script. Chapter 5. The Scribe's Wisdom. As we weave our way into the bustling heart of 7th century Mecca, let's take a moment to appreciate the quiet intensity of a discipline that has stood the test of time. Calligraphy. Can you imagine trying to write a billion-dollar business deal while balancing a three-legged camel on the other side of the parchment? Well, that's precisely what our meticulous scribe Ahmad seemed to be facing, minus the circus act. It's the year 610 CE, and amidst the aromatic chaos of the market, where spices hang like colorful ornaments and merchants deluge you with their pitches, there's Ahmad, draped in his finely woven robes, clutching a reed pen like it's an extension of his very soul. His concentration is fierce. A bracing cup of Arabic coffee would be a welcomed companion, but alas, instead, he's armed with ink, parchment, and a heart full of integrity. Ahmad's warm fingers tap the edge of his inkpot, the sounds melding with laughter from nearby stalls. His parchment, spread out like an eager child on the first day of school, eagerly waits for the next financial entry. 20 sheep exchanged for 6 dates and a ridiculously overcooked roast, guaranteed to make your hair fall out. In the backdrop, a merchant in a flamboyant scarf haggle aggressively like he's auditioning for a drama troupe. Each price drop tinged with theatrical flair. Did he just suggest I pay him while riding that flea-infested camel? Ahmad chuckles under his breath, pausing momentarily to ensure the ink flows as smoothly as a desert breeze. You see, the ledger he maintains is not just a log. It's a testament to values that would echo through the ages: trustworthiness, fairness, and the occasional reminder that not every deal goes as planned, especially when that roast is concerned. But let's not forget the slightly absurd predicament he finds himself in. The very act of recording financial transactions in a land bustling with merchants and dubious characters. Ever tried to squeeze the last drop of ketchup from a bottle only to have it spurt everywhere? Or, more accurately, is it like selling a half-eaten falafel and trying to convince your friend they should definitely take it? The stakes in this transaction world are just as high, and with every stroke of his pen, Ahmad dances with fate. As his pen glides across the parchment, he ponders the implications of his entries. "You have to uphold honesty," he mumbles, "even if your neighbor's goat does have better luck than your own." His thoughts drift to those revealed verses he's heard whispers of in the coffee houses, a haunting reminder that even the most mundane lives contain divine lessons waiting to unfurl. The marketplace around him buzzes with the hustling and bustling of humanity at its most raw, people bartering, giggling, and occasionally shrieking in comedic disbelief at the outlandish prices called out. 2 for 1, or else it's going to be a long walk home. There it is, that perfect blend of chaos and community, where every transaction holds a secret and laughter bubbles just beneath the surface. And yet, Ahmad's scribblings echo with a commitment to a moral compass. Each jot and tittle reinforces the importance of just conduct, a principle that would ripple through time like the annoying sound of your screaming refrigerator in the middle of the night. You get it. Ahmad's own life, intertwined with the vivid hues of the market, embodies the principles of integrity. You see, he reflects, the essence of these transactions is not merely financial. It's also about building trust, like sharing the last bite of a kebab with your friend, despite how mouth-watering it looks. Little does he know that this message of integrity will not only echo in his life, but also weave itself into the fabric of a faith that's yet to come, one where fairness and uprightness dictate every transaction, relationship, and moment. In quiet moments, between transactions and pen strokes, Ahmad thinks back to his beloved mother's words. "Integrity is like the rarest spice, my son. It enhances everything it touches." Might be a bit ethereal to fathom while selling a few sheep, but in essence, he's laying down the cornerstone for a community built on compassion and ethical dealings, right from the sandy streets of Mecca. Oh, dear inkpot, you tell my story. Don't get jealous of my flourishing friendship with honesty. Ahmad laughs softly as he records the latest ill-fated deal with the canine vendor, who insisted their mutt, ironically named Brilliant, fetch a magnificent price in the marketplace. One can only imagine how that turned out. Fido, check out that fresh date. In these moments, the scribe becomes a conduit for revelation, a seeker of truth hidden beneath grains of sand and bustling barter. The vibrant marketplace, a stage for divine lessons, silently sculpts tomorrow's narratives, while Ahmad's ink encapsulates them one transaction at a time. As you close your eyes tonight and delve into dreamland, think of Ahmad, the scribe, capturing snippets of humanity amidst laughter and chaos, reminding us all that even in the mundane details of life, divine wisdom is always waiting to be unveiled. The teachings of honesty and integrity are meant for everyone, not just the scribes, but even for those of us wrestling with the small yet potent secrets of our own lives. Sleep tight, dear friend, and let dreams be filled with whimsical wisdom. Chapter 6. Cosmic Revelations Over Coffee. As you drift deeper into this enchanting realm, you find yourself gazing up at a swirling nebula of deep space, rich shades of midnight blue and swirling purples merging like a painter's palette under a star-sprinkled sky. You think, could I order a coffee up there? What do you think heavenly baristas serve? Moonlight lattes? Gently shaking your head to shake off such absurd notions, you focus on the scene, illuminated with delicate golden Arabic script, shimmering like treasure scattered amongst the stars. You're transported to the year 610 CE, where the cosmos seems to whisper secrets of the universe, echoing through the heart of the early Islamic period in Mecca. This is an era marked not just by bustling markets and lively debates, but also by revelations that would change the course of humanity forever. Have you ever pondered how many people it took to ink down values on parchment, as numerous as the stars above? What's it like to be the first person to hear about the universe's expansion before it becomes an Instagram trend? In the distance, Ahmad, our meticulous scribe, sits perched on a sun-warmed rock, his reed pen poised over an untouched parchment as he contemplates celestial wonders. You know, if I could just reach for those scripting stars, he muses wryly, rolling his eyes at the absurdity of what he would write. Ah, here comes another one. Today I witnessed two camels arguing over the best spot in the shade. Who knew they had competing interests? Amidst his thoughts, he recalls the whispers echoing through the coffee houses about verses that had unfurled in his mind, guiding his hand. Little did he know, those verses were hinting at universal truths, unveiling the connections between the heavens and earth, links between galaxies far away, and the insightful wisdom waiting to be discovered. How fascinating is it that a simple piece of parchment could carry messages propelling thoughts about existence, all the while battling with the dilemma of a crowded marketplace? Ever tried sipping hot tea on the back of a galloping horse? Quite similar, isn't it? The aroma of roasted figs mingles with spices in the air, wrapping around Ahmad as he gets caught up in his responsibilities. His laughter bursts free into this vibrant atmosphere when he overhears a man haggling with a vendor while simultaneously attempting not to trip over his own feet. "Balance is key, my friend," Ahmad chuckles. "Even the tightest negotiations go awry when gravity misses its mark." But here's the kicker. What he's truly grasping is how his seemingly mundane observations blend seamlessly with the profound truths he seeks to record. In a land punctuated by untamed lives, his ink is capturing fleeting moments that might very well echo from the flesh of future generations. Have you ever wondered whether those shopping for a new tunic ever pondered the expansive quality of the universe? Maybe they too were just as lost as Ahmad, hoping the price tag wasn't further than the end of the cosmos. As Ahmad's pen glides gracefully across the parchment, the golden script begins to intertwine with thoughts of marvelous discoveries. "Oh, there it is again," he murmurs. "The stars, expanding and contracting like the ambitions of my friend who tried a homemade cheese recipe. Just imagine that. The universe, unfolding its secrets amidst an inspired scribe and a cheese enthusiast in the bustling market. You see, Ahmad may have been just a humble seller and scribe, but he was becoming more inextricably linked to the fabric of cosmic revelations than he could ever comprehend. The verses that had touched on the nature of the universe, calling humanity to reflect upon creation, were folding in on themselves in celestial patterns, as though the stars themselves were whispering secrets to each other in a language far older than time. But what about those ancient scribes before Ahmad? Did they too lie awake at night, contemplating the rules of gravitational pull while wading through the complexities of bartering? Where were the heavenly guides when you needed them, right? Yet here lies the beauty, my sleepy companion. Amidst humor and absurdity, the profound truths twinkled like stars, merging laughter with depth. Ahmad would sit and ponder what cosmic wonders would unfold long after his ink dried. An expanding universe doesn't just mirror the depth of the cosmos, it also reflects our understanding, a reminder that we too can expand our horizons, even while haggling over that perfect shade of camel spice in the bustling heart of Mecca. As the market continued to offer comedic intrigue around him, you too can contemplate. Who knows what marvelous discoveries await you in your dreams, hidden between the shaky laughter and starlit thoughts of a pensive scribe? Will you end up scribbling cosmic verses on your own parchment of life? As you transition from Ahmad's playful world of cosmic revelations, wrap yourself in the warmth of your blankets, imagining your dreams swirling with the vibrant hues of deep space, mixing just as wonderfully as those golden Arabic scripts etched upon your heart. And remember, the universe is infinitely larger than that half-eaten falafel you had for dinner. So let yourself drift away now. Until tomorrow, dear friend, let the universe cradle your thoughts and guide your dreams with lost books of wisdom and giggling galaxies. Chapter 7. The Pen of Grace. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Tonight we embark on a journey as refreshing as your morning mint tea, unraveling the intriguing tales wrapped in the words of the Most Gracious. Imagine this. You're living in 610 CE, a time brighter than your brightest vacation photos, and certainly less selfie-obsessed. Here, in the heart of Mecca, you'll find a world brimming with bustling markets, whispers of divine messages, and perhaps a few camels engaged in passionate debates about the best date vendor. Now, I invite you to like, subscribe, and comment, only if you truly enjoy this delightful odyssey of ancient knowledge, of course. So, as we prep for this enchanting saga, dim the lights, snuggle into your blankets, and picture yourself amidst the lively scene of historical Arabia. What would it be like to be in the shoes of a scribe, wielding a pen instead of a smartphone? Have you ever pondered the possibility of an inkwell mischief, like accidentally spilling ink on your best tunic, or attempting to capture celestial revelations while your cat prances around? It's like trying to meditate with a toddler doing a cartwheel, isn't it? Congratulations! You've just woken up in the vibrant year of 610, the time when the universe's secrets start to get written down with the finesse of a master chef just adding spice. The sun is setting, casting a golden hue over the sandstone walls of a nearby marketplace. Can you hear the distant call to prayer, mingling with the chatter of merchants? The air is laced with sweetness. Perhaps it's those delectable figs simmering nearby, or maybe the spices that seem to dance in the breeze. Your attention shifts as you catch sight of Ahmad, a scribe with more ink stains than a pickled squid at a summer festival, sitting cross-legged on a sun-kissed rock. Ah, Ahmad. He admires his inkpot as though it holds the secrets of the universe. You know, he ponders aloud, if only these words could write themselves, I'd have a much easier life. Maybe the ink would leak out like gossip from the marketplace. His companions chuckle, momentarily distracted from their own transactions. The hilarity of a self-scribing inkpot is too much for them to bear. As his reed pen teeters above the parchment, Ahmad breathes deeply, collecting his thoughts. The words of the Most Gracious flow through him, not as a grocery list, but as a divine embrace, an invitation to share wisdom far beyond his humble surroundings. What if my next scroll contains verses on patience? He muses, rolling his eyes with a smile. Not like I need to exercise that virtue while waiting for old Jabir to negotiate that price on figs. The soothing, rhythmic scratch of his pen against parchment is nearly hypnotic. It's as if each letter dances across the paper, creating a tapestry of thought, a canvas illustrating kindness, justice, and grace. Can you imagine the thrill of being the first to record verses promising eternal wisdom? It's like being the inventor of chocolate chip cookies, but on a heavenly scale. Stirring from his daydreams, Ahmad recalls a comical incident from the market. Two camels locked in an intense competition, seemingly arguing over the best shade. One day, he chuckles, I will write about their tale of ambition. Such moments, so ordinary yet peculiar, often spring forth layers of profound meaning tucked amongst laughter and warmth. The atmosphere is bubbling with energy. Traders haggle passionately over the latest pottery, while children dart around, competing for the sweetest morsels. In this cacophony lies an unspoken wisdom. Everyone is striving, everyone is dreaming of a better tomorrow while they stomp around in dusty sandals. Ever tried to convince a vendor that you absolutely need his prized tunic? Quite like asking your cat for a heartwarming hug when you're down. It's hit or miss. But Ahmad, ensconced in his moment of thought, doesn't just record events. No, he seeks to capture the essence of what life entails, like weaving a narrative in which everyone plays a role, however whimsical or grand. Every pigmented brush of his pen brings him closer to understanding the humanness of these fleeting moments. And here I thought my biggest dilemma was selecting which tunic to wear, he muses, shaking his head. Little did I know that recording divine wisdom would hold me captive in nobler matters. As he dips his pen back into the ink, the golden Arabic letters begin to unfold before him, intricate and beautiful, shimmering like stars. Each word carries weight and grace, an invitation to explore the unfolding universe with courage and compassion. And while his ink dries slowly, the laughter of the marketplace fills the air, creating a quirky symphony that inspires even the most mundane of tasks. Ahmad, the unassuming scribe, truly embodies an extraordinary moment in time, a flash of brilliance captured under the radiant sun, as he edges closer to recording verses that would not only enrich lives, but mold destinies. But pause for a moment. Have you ever considered what the great sages and scribes of history felt while penning thoughts that would echo for centuries? Were they ever overwhelmed by the pressures of greatness? Or maybe they simply enjoyed a good laugh amidst their deep contemplations. After all, a good belly laugh is the universe's remedy. So, as the sun finally dips below the horizon, bathing the world in quiet twilight, allow yourself to drift through Ahmad's tales of life, faith, and wisdom. Wrap yourself in associated joys, the same way you would snuggle into a fluffy blanket on a chilly night. The universe is waiting, pen poised for more laughter, more wisdom. With each word sinking deeper into your mind like warm syrup on a pancake, breathe it all in, and rest, dear friend. Chapter 8. The Scroll of Secrets. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Tonight, as the moon hangs high in the sky, much like your aunt's infamous fruit salad at family gatherings, we journey back to the year 610 CE. Picture this. The early Islamic civilization is blossoming, and amidst the sands of Mecca, a unique scroll lies tucked away in a dust-laden nook of an ancient library. This scroll is like no other. It's neither a simple poem to dazzle the heart, nor prose to cradle the mind. It's akin to that impossible jigsaw puzzle you've been staring at for years. Beautiful, intricate, and a bit maddening. Have you ever found yourself desperately attempting to categorize your thoughts into neat little boxes, only to realize you've created a mixed-up mess? Is it poetry? Is it prose? Or is it one of those perplexing riddles only an owl in a top hat can solve? Imagine a poet wrestling with a philosophical debate over a cup of mint tea, because, let's face it, nothing else would hold their attention long enough. As you nestle deeper into your blankets and turn down the lights, let's ponder. What if this scroll contains not just words, but the very essence of spirituality wrapped in linguistic elegance? Would you find yourself trying to decipher it over breakfast? Maybe with a banana in hand, pondering if that fruit is more profound than the first verse? Could you connect its teachings with the daily grind of modern life? Or would it remain an enigma, oscillating between the sublime and confusion? Allow yourself to be drawn into this moment, this time. Congratulations, you've just been catapulted into the vibrant tapestry of 610 CE, where scholars are sharper than fresh date honey and the marketplace buzzes with life like bees at a barbecue. In the heart of Mecca, the sun begins to set, casting a warm glow over the city, enveloping everything in a golden embrace. The scroll, my friends, is cradled by the soft, wise hands of Ilyas, a scribe renowned for his ability to infuse every papyrus with the richness of his soul. However, his search for meaning in this particular scroll has him stumped. What on earth did the author intend here? He muses, his voice a blend of amusement and frustration. If only these words could whisper their secrets to me, like an overly chatty neighbor who can't keep a conversation short. As you gather around him in the bustling scriptorium, the aroma of sandalwood wafts through the air, almost dancing with the laughter of sound. Papyrus rustles, ink flows, and every so often you catch the eye of a curious camel gazing through the window, perhaps wondering why its owner hasn't given it a snack. The sheer absurdity of life unfolds as Ilyas pokes his head out and shouts, "Hey, this isn't a camel parade, you know. I'm trying to decode the divine." The scroll appears to be a linguistic labyrinth, each line a winding path leading nowhere in particular, transforming simple words into profound mysteries. Ilyas, with ink smeared across his forehead, mutters, "If they measure wisdom by the number of ink stains on your tunic, then I'm destined for greatness." His friends shake their heads, bringing to mind the old proverb, "A scribe can leave his mark, but so can a bad meal." Yet amidst the humorous banter, there's an underlying depth to Ilyas's work. The scroll he handles is more than a collection of musings. It embodies the essence of divine revelation, crafted into an intricate dance of eloquence and nuance. "Can you imagine?" he continues. "People in centuries to come will either revere this scroll or use it to prop up a table." The sound of laughter fills the room as Ilyas finally accidentally spills a bit of ink onto the precious scroll. Panic ripples through the crowd, like discovering your favorite shirt has a coffee stain. "Fear not, it's just a splash of inspiration," he exclaims amidst the collective gasp. This moment perfectly epitomizes the absurdity and beauty of life during this historical period, drawing parallels to our own. A reminder that even the finest scholars faced hiccups, like running out of milk while making tea. But let's delve deeper into Ilyas's thoughts. As the sun dips lower, turning the skyline into a silhouette of intrigue, he muses about the scroll's true purpose. Perhaps each verse is like a puzzle piece, he thinks aloud, each one distinctive and yet fitting in with the mention of compassion, justice, and deliberation. It's a reflection of humanity itself, isn't it? We're all a little messy, some more than others, just like my goats. As Ilyas transcribes word after word, he starts weaving connections through the ages, understanding each line doesn't exist in isolation. It forms a nexus of faith and philosophy, all tied back to a singular truth, the core of humanity seeking companionship, understanding, and a little humor on life's winding road. From where you sit within the flickering candlelight, the scroll begins to emanate a glow that warms your heart. It feels alive, full of pulse and rhythm, an invitation to explore the very depths of existence. Ilias is no longer just a scribe. He becomes a bridge between time, linking you with every human who has sought wisdom across centuries. So here's the punchline, dear friends. Perhaps while we may attempt to categorize our lives, crafting neat little boxes and trying to avoid ink stains, it's the messy bits that tell the best stories. Life isn't just a collection of words on a scroll. It's the laughter shared over absurd moments, the wisdom gleaned from failed attempts, and the reminders that we are all in this together, much like camels trying to decide if they prefer dates or figs. As you drift off into dreams, may the echoes of Ilias and his scroll remind you of the beauty found in every silly mishap and profound revelation. Who knew that life in 610 CE could stir so much laughter and inspiration, challenging each of us to embrace our inner scribes? Ba'den, inshallah, God willing, until we continue this enchanting journey together. Stay cozy, dear friends, and remember, the scroll lies not just in the past, but unfolds through our daily lives. May the echoes of the past cradle you into dreams filled with adventure, wisdom, and just enough mischief to keep life interesting. Chapter 9. The Symphony of Voices. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Tonight, we embark on a wondrous journey that even your neighbor's chorus of cats would applaud. Imagine a grand symphony made up of both young children and wise elders, reciting the same sacred verses, their voices traveling like a dandelion seed on the winds of time, across the sands of Arabia to the corners of the world. Picture this. It's 610 CE, and while your modern-day coffee shop seems vibrant, the marketplaces of Mecca are buzzing with the chatter of merchants and the melodic echoes of prayer wafting through the warm air, much like your uncle's barbecue smoke, inviting yet slightly overwhelming. Let's set the scene a bit more. Have you ever tried to assemble a puzzle only to find one piece that looks like it belongs with a different set altogether? Well, that's a sip of what life felt like in the early Islamic period. Can you imagine standing amidst a crowd as a little child, reciting those mystifying verses passionately, all while secretly hoping no one would notice your missing tooth? Or could you see an elder with a flowing beard reciting with more power and authority than a politician giving their best speech, pensively wondering if they should have opted for a nice mint tea instead? As the gentle evening breeze sweeps through, you might wonder about the peculiar bond that strings together these voices, young and old, with rhythms and accents as diverse as the fruits in a farmer's market. Think about it. What if each reciter is actually a note in a grand symphony, creating a chorus that reverberates across deserts and oceans? It's almost poetic, isn't it? Without skipping a beat, you'd wake up to find yourself in the bustling heart of Mecca, dressed in clothing woven from the finest palm fibers, surrounded by these extraordinary voices. As twilight casts its golden veil, you see groups of children darting to and fro, like playful little gazelles, eager to recite what they've learned. Perhaps you hear the high-pitched sounds of laughter intertwined with the deeper baritone tones of grandfathers, echoing wisdom that would make Socrates raise an eyebrow. Note to self, you think. Finding wisdom in the mispronunciation of a single word is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Suddenly, you're enlisted into this fascinating realm where knowledge is nurtured amongst laughter, giggles, and the occasional hiccup from an elder who forgot to swallow his mint tea correctly. Let's cozy up to the sweet sounds of these voices. Each child, wide-eyed and full of determination, recites with an earnestness that could rival even the most practiced orators. Can you hear it? A wave of harmonies and pitches swirling around you, rising and falling like the dunes, each voice echoing with a meaning and depth more profound than the layers of sand beneath your feet. Meanwhile, a curious cat eyes the gathering, probably wondering why humans waste their breath, instead of just taking a good nap like it does. But the hilarity doesn't stop there. Every time a child mistakenly flips the end of a verse, their comrades snicker with uncontainable glee, instantly sparking a competition to see who can recite the longest without messing up, a game to both fear and adore. Isn't that a pressure cooker of fun? Imagine the collective gasp, akin to a balloon popping every time someone fumbles. How many verses do you think you'll memorize before they turn 18? Your mind asks with a smirk. A challenge that seems like it belongs in a modern-day sitcom. As you settle in with these voices, there's a deeper connection whispering like the wind through the palm trees. The realization that these sacred words unify them, binding hearts and minds across generations. Like a single thread knitting their fabric of faith and understanding, they are growing together, much like your uncle's famous fruit salad watches your diet plans implode at family gatherings. Dive deeper. Imagine as the sun sets, silhouetting the gatherings against the sky, that each recitation is not just about the words, but about sharing lessons of compassion, righteousness, and the humor of life's little mishaps. Isn't it ironic? Those simple lines of verse have traveled through time, yet feel so relevant, much like discovering a long-lost pair of socks still in style. Stepping back, it all feels like a spectacular tapestry coming together, colors bursting forth from historical threads, a grand reminder of our human experience wrapped in the joy of community and faith. The symphony you hear isn't just sound, it's the rhythm of life itself, a living art piece that paints a picture so vivid that even Picasso might pause to admire its depth. As dreams start to sway in the distance, the collective harmony of children and elders joins hands, a gentle reminder that every misfortune faced and every triumph celebrated can unite us in love and shared devotion. So as you settle in, may this wave of voices lull you, not just to dreamland, but into the comforting embrace of shared humanity, where the laughter of innocence and the wisdom of ages linger on the winds forever. As whispers surround you, recognize that each word serves as a compass, a gentle guide echoing the beauty of faith through time. Each voice a spark in an eternal flame that keeps the heart warm, reminding you that no matter where you find yourself in this grand tapestry of life, you are not alone. So go ahead, take a deep breath, and allow the soothing symphony of voices to drift you softly into slumber, cradled by the echoes of devotion from a time that feels as alive today as it did over a millennium ago. Chapter 10. The Seeker's Edge. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Tonight we find ourselves teetering, quite literally, on the edge, reminiscent of a daring napkin at a family dinner plate, where one wrong move could send you tumbling down into a sea of dishes. Yes, you've guessed right, it's 610 CE, and we're at the top of a cliff in the rugged mountains of Arabia. As the sun begins its descent, casting hues of orange and pink that would put a modern-day artist's palette to shame, you're standing, eyes squinting against the glorious setting sun, contemplating life, the universe, and that last questionable bite of naan you had earlier. You might be wondering, what was life like for a curious seeker back then? Did they have existential crises similar to the ones we face today? Did they ever think, where's my next cup of tea coming from? Or ponder the age-old question, am I wearing enough layers to keep warm without turning into a walking plum? Ah, the struggles are universal, aren't they? As you stand at this cliff's edge, hair tossing in the wind, which, let's be real, is much less glamorous than it sounds, you start to ponder deeper issues. What if the mountains themselves could speak? What wisdom might they offer? Have you ever asked a mountain for guidance? Probably not, because, frankly, you don't want to hear an avalanche of complaints about climbing fees. In the stillness of twilight, the vast expanse before you translates into a metaphor for life, a great tapestry woven with the threads of existence. Here, the land offers its mysteries like the finest of silks, each wrinkle and fold telling a story. You glance across the horizon, where the deep reds of the sun compellingly usher in the rising shadows. Ever thought that shadows, much like your cousin at family reunions, come out more prominent as the light fades? Now, allow your imagination to wander further. Picture this. In those ancient days, a seeker of truth like yourself wouldn't just stand gazing into the vastness with glazed eyes. No, they would be intensely reflecting on the extraordinary, pondering questions about the Creator, life's purpose, and, let's not forget, the importance of good bread. Did the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, ever wonder how to enhance his falafel game? Perhaps. After all, even the profound had to eat. As the wind whispers sweet nothings, or maybe just random grains of sand, let's consider the seekers of knowledge who trod this very rocky path. Do you think they adapted to the landscape like lizards, or did they pride themselves in tripping over their own thoughts? We can imagine our seeker here, deep in contemplation, suddenly disrupted by a misguided goat charging across the cliff like it just found out it was late for a dinner appointment. In these moments of reflection and amusement, connect with the sensation of being alive, right here at the edge, contemplating divine matters while a goat rushes past your feet. Who knew spirituality and high-speed grazing could coexist? You see, this juxtaposition of high stakes and low brows gives life its sparkle. Each failed attempt at enlightenment could supply enough material for a 21st century comedy series. Did you ever think that maybe, just maybe, enlightenment is a lot like trying to assemble IKEA furniture without the instructions? Now, close your eyes and let tranquility envelop you like a soft shawl. Imagine you're not only an observer, but a part of this grand scene. There's nature, softening your worries and cradling your spirit. Imagine every breeze carrying the wisdom of the ages, reminding you of your own little existential journey. What makes you tick? Is it that intriguing book on your shelf? Or is it the pursuit of happiness? Or perhaps mastering the perfect cup of tea? As day surrenders to night, you recognize that the Creator of the universe put a vast array of wonders right here, somewhere between the lush valleys and jagged cliffs. Each star emerging above is a babbling brook of thoughts, ready to burst into life. Why do we exist? You ponder, smiling at how the universe seems to chuckle back. Why not? The transition from light to dark brings a freshness to your thoughts, much like shifting from a deep malaise to a dance party at midnight. While the mountains listen without judgment, though it would be catastrophic if they did, they embody the spirit of seeking knowledge. Each hill and valley, each rising star, carries whispers of those who questioned, who yearned, and who danced on the edge like you, slightly wobbly but undeniably alive. You see, dear friends, this moment at the cliff's edge isn't merely about contemplating nature or indulging in vegetarian fantasies. It's about understanding that every thought, every question posed, adds a distinct note to your life's melody. Just like the verses of the Quran mattered to those who recited them, our thoughts hold significance too. An echo of universal longing for connection, understanding, and perhaps a well-cooked dinner. So, as you blend together your musings with the stars and the mountains, remember this shimmering lesson. Spirituality doesn't exclude laughter or the occasional slip on a rocky path. Meditation welcomes humor, and seekers like you are simply scribes of their own adventurous tale, jotted down against the backdrop of the cosmos. And as you finally begin to wrap this introspective evening, ask yourself, when was the last time you stood at the edge of your own mountain, be it metaphorical or actual, gazing into the depths of possibility, alive with questions, laughter, and an endless appetite for wisdom? Because, my dear friend, life is more than just seeking. It's about enjoying the ride, the goats, and sometimes even recognizing that it's quite all right to trip over your thoughts every now and then. And so, dear friends, As the stars twinkle and you settle into the silence of the night, let each thought carry you deeper into dreams paved with curiosity and humor. May your own mountains become less daunting, and may you rise to great heights. After all, there's joy in the journey, laughter in the searching, and profound wisdom in the simple act of standing still. Until next time, may your nights be restful and your minds captivatingly curious. Remember to drift into sleep, knowing that beyond the veil of dreams lies the divine tapestry of your beautiful life. Chapter 11. A Gathering of Luminaries. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Tonight we embark on a journey more illuminating than the quest for the last slice of pizza at a party. Yes, even when it's slightly cold. Picture this. The year is 610 CE, and you find yourself in a dusty valley of Arabia, the kind that leaves a person's sneakers looking like they've just participated in a mud wrestling match. But instead, it's just an intense encounter with nature. As the sun dips, casting a golden hue that would make even the most vibrant Instagram filter look dim, you feel an odd sense of anticipation, much like waiting for a surprise party thrown by your very forgetful friend. Now, imagine this. The great figures of history, legendary guides like Adam, Noah, Moses, and Jesus, walking harmoniously towards a single point of divine light. Were they in a friendly debate about who had the best miracle? Maybe Adam insisted on the first tree he planted, while Moses chimed in with tales of parting seas. If only we had a candid camera documenting their banter. You might wonder, did they encounter daily dilemmas like we do? Could you picture Adam trying to get Noah to stop making "this is us" jokes? Or Moses attempting to convince Jesus that sandals were indeed the height of ancient fashion? The humor and camaraderie among these righteous figures set a scene both delightful and solemn. As you glide through this realm, the dusty valley surrounds you like an old friend who has inadvertently shared a bit too much personal information. The air is filled with scents, earthy and warm, reminding you of home-cooked meals left unattended just long enough to become deliciously aromatic. It's the kind of smell that has a way of inviting thoughts of family gatherings and delightful chaos. Let's pause and consider, what would it be like to be a seeker during this transformative time? Would you spend your days in dusty valleys or opulent palaces, pondering the great questions of existence while sipping on lukewarm herbal tea, wondering, is this the time period for tea, or did I just invent it? Ah, the complexities of being alive. Now, envision our revered figures moving about, sharing wisdom and laughter under the vast Arabian sky. Can you hear the faint echoes of their discussions? Perhaps their conversations were sprinkled with laughter as they recounted past miracles or debated the merits of bread versus flatbread. Who doesn't love a good snack discussion, especially when you're walking toward a divine light that's just begging for a dramatic entrance? As you fall deeper into this vivid picture, you gain an appreciation for the interplay of history and faith, the profound struggles of seekers amidst the dust and sun. Wisdom flowed through these leaders like an endless river, each word a droplet contributing to the greater ocean of understanding. This makes you ponder, how would a discussion between them play out in today's world? Would they start a podcast titled Ancient Wisdom for Modern Problems? You can practically hear the theme music playing. As the sun begins to fade, the golden light morphs into soft shades of purple and blue, wrapping around you as if inviting you to join this divine assembly. Each whisper of the wind carries tales of courage, hope, and spiritual awakening. You can almost hear how Noah might have chuckled about the time he forgot to pack snacks for his epic journey. Did you know I ended up feeding giraffes the last crusts of bread? I really thought they'd do a better job of holding it together. Through laughter and reflection, the warm glow of wisdom radiates more vibrantly than the sun setting behind the mountains. These leaders remind you of the knots and tangles life presents, yet there is comfort, even humor, in the absurdity of existence. After all, Navigating the world isn't so different from trying to assemble a new piece of furniture without instructions. A riddle wrapped inside a mystery, much like your last invitation to a family potluck, where everyone brings their slightly dubious-looking casserole. As they walk toward the singular point of light, you understand that this gathering transcends time and space. It's a movement towards understanding the divine, uniting purpose and passion. It's like a cosmic dance of sincerity and earnestness, where secrets of the universe peek through as they share insight, reminding you that deep connections forge lasting legacies. So, as you lay there, envisioning these magnificent figures in their dusty valley, know that you too are a seeker on this journey. You're part of humanity's wondrous tapestry, a blend of drama, laughter, and the pursuit of understanding. As the stories of the past illuminate your path, thirst for knowledge and truth courses through your veins like sweet nectar. Next time you find yourself pondering life's pressing questions, remember, even the greatest prophets had their moments of humor. In digging deep for understanding, perhaps you'll discover that, at the end of the day, we're all just sinners trying to keep our balance on a tightrope strung between hope, laughter, and the fragrant aroma of life simmering away just beneath the surface. And thus, dear listeners, as the twilight deepens and the stars sprinkle the sky, may your dreams be painted with the colors of wisdom and humor. May you float peacefully on the waves of understanding, embarking on every new day with curiosity shimmering in your heart. Until our next adventure in seeking, remember life's absurdities are merely small pebbles in the vast landscape of existence. Drift to sleep with the comforting knowledge that beyond our nightly dreams lies a world of divine stories and bright futures waiting to unfold. Chapter 12. Weaving of the Cosmic Tapestry. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Tonight we embark on a quest that's about as thrilling as finding a forgotten piece of cake in the back of your fridge. But truly, it's a cake that reveals layers richer than any creamy delight. Picture this. The year is now 610 CE, nestled snugly in the early Islamic period, where the air is thick with potential, sandstorms lurk like bad hair days, and the whispers of divine revelation curl around the thoughts of the seekers wandering the deserts of Arabia. Can you imagine what it must have felt like? Riding a camel through the unforgiving sands. Ever tried balancing a cup of tea on a bumpy camel ride? Nerve-wracking, isn't it? As you gallop on, have you ever wondered how those great minds of the time were managing their day-to-day? Did they have existential crises, or were they more concerned with the latest gossip about camel racing? Was it hard to get the shopkeeper to throw in a few extra dates, or did he just roll his eyes like the teenagers at your local grocery store? But lo and behold, congratulations! You've just woken up in the heart of this transformative era, surrounded by more excitement than the sales on Black Friday, but without the hustle, bustle, or slightly awkward encounters. The skies above glisten with a depth of blue that would make any artist weep, interwoven with threads of gold, much like some chaotic quilt thrown together by an enthusiastic auntie. The beauty of the cosmos nudges at your heart, beckoning you to embrace the secrets that lie within. Let's talk about the people of that time. Those thirsty seekers who experience life more intensely than watching a suspense thriller at midnight. Every day, they navigated the tapestry of their existence, weaving stories together like skilled artisans. Their conversations brimmed with fervor, bouncing between the earthy scents of warm bread baking and the sweet perfume of those enchanting desert blossoms. Can you almost hear the animated chatter in the marketplace? Perhaps even amusing debates over whose falafel recipe was superior, or whether that dubious trade in particularly hefty camels was a good idea. Amidst these vibrant discussions, a divine thread began to unfurl, one that would stitch together varied lives into a narrative of profound faith, joy, and just a sprinkle of hilarity. Ever tried explaining the concept of monotheism to a group of skeptical camel herders? It must have required all the charms of a circus juggler. The early Muslims were setting the stage for an enormous, life-altering message, one that would unite hearts and minds across the burgeoning Islamic civilization. As you delve into the stories unfolding around you, take a moment to appreciate how these characters became stewards of knowledge. These dreamers and poets, scribes and thinkers, gently cradled the tales of divine guidance, much like a doting parent protecting their child from sudden rain showers. Their words drifted like wisps of smoke rising into the evening air, waiting for the winds of fate to carry them forth, a rhythm pulsating through the sands of time. Imagine being a witness to the gathering of these seekers at the mouth of history, standing on the precipice of a new age. Remember those late-night brainstorming sessions with friends where everyone shares their wild ideas? A bit quieter, but infinitely more solemn and philosophical. Each revelation became a precious gem, sparkling amid the dust. Conversations woven together with threads of history that sparkled like stars on a clear night, brightening the paths of those seated around them. So, as you sip your lukewarm herbal tea, did anyone ever tell you that herbal tea isn't really that great at any temperature? You begin to embrace the significance of both delicate humor and weighty wisdom entwined in the profound messages of that time. Are you laughing at the thought of prophets having problems to solve that are somehow relatable? Like wondering how to keep a camel from eating the neighbor's prized fig tree? Yes, metaphors like that could certainly break the seriousness of the moment. Amidst the depths of this tapestry, the fabric threads shimmer with woven meanings that speak of patience, love, justice, and, of course, the occasional misadventure. Every twist and turn signifies the importance of listening, believing, and embracing the lessons of unity and compassion. The very fibers bringing the fabric of humanity together under the watchful gaze of the divine. As the sun dips beneath the horizon, encircled by vibrant hues of orange and purple, you realize that this tapestry is not merely a backdrop, but a living, breathing entity. The whispers of God are carried on the backs of stories and experiences, the cosmic dance of souls intertwined with heavenly messages, guiding them homeward. In the coming moments, allow yourself to drift between the realms of sleep and enlightenment as you rest your eyes against a patchwork of stars, suffused with the warmth of stories that have traveled down through the ages. Each factor in this vast expanse invites you to unravel your part in the grand narrative, be it that of a humble seeker under the glorious skies of Arabia, or a curious figure sipping tea on a modern couch, contemplating the wondrous threads of fate and faith. May the threads of the universe guide you gently into the embrace of dreams, whispering tales of old as you drift softly towards the realm where the divine holds each of our journeys dear. As we close tonight's chapter, dear friends, may your dreams be illuminated by the same golden threads of wisdom and the laughter of ancient seekers. Drift into peaceful slumber with the assurance that every awakening may unveil yet another facet of your own unique tapestry, a wondrous blend of joy, trials, and the endless stories that shape our existence. Until we meet again, may your nights adorned with tranquility and your days tinged with the spark of curiosity for the mysteries that lie ahead. Sweet dreams. Chapter 13. A tiny jewel of divine wisdom. Salam alaikum, dear listeners. Tonight, we will explore something smaller than your smartphone, but infinitely more profound. The absolute gem that is Surah Al-Kawthar. It's like the divine equivalent of a shot of espresso, compact, powerful, and undeniably uplifting. Imagine it being revealed in 610 CE, during a time when camel racing was practically an Olympic sport, and a good coffee shop was likely a tent serving lukewarm camel milk. Did you ever think about why we treasure gems? Is it the way the light hits them, or the stories woven around them? Speaking of gems, how is it that a 3-verse chapter managed to become the most memorized text worldwide? Did someone moonlight as a motivational speaker? Ask yourself, was anyone really taking notes when revelations were happening? When the angel Gabriel showed up, were people more interested in the size or shape of his wings, or just hoping he wouldn't ask for a group selfie? Congratulations! You've just awakened in 610 CE, just outside Mecca, where the air is filled with the sweet scent of opportunity and the occasional whiff of burnt bread. You're surrounded by likable characters, merchants arguing over prices of fine silks, and children dashing around like they've had one too many servings of honey date pudding. You might even hear a rather passionate debate over camel beauty contests, including one contestant who simply refused to lose and insisted her owner had shot them eyes. Now, let's dive into the rich tapestry of history surrounding this gem of a surah. Imagine feeling the warm sands beneath your feet and hearing the bustling sounds of the vibrant marketplace. Every passerby is swirling with ideas, questions, and perhaps a touch of mischief. The air sparkles with promises of future wisdom, waiting for someone daring enough to unveil it. Let's talk about the environment where this sweet nugget of wisdom was revealed. Picture woodwork shimmered and just waiting for its artistic moment. Craft markets overflowing with vibrant fabrics that somehow managed to look both washed out and dazzling at the same time. And the prominent presence of ancient poets reciting their verses, while you stand there thinking, how on earth do I sort my laundry, let alone recite like that? In the midst of all this sound and splendid chaos, a profound message unfolds, the incredible revelation of Surah Al-Kawthar. Isn't it amusing to think that, while you may be tossing and turning over life's stressful moments, monks in the caves are collectively trying not to sleep through the divine messaging? There's a running joke among the locals that if you listen closely, you can even hear the need for a divine coffee break. Now, let's indulge in visualizing this small, cherished chapter, a mere 3 verses that proclaim abundance and blessings. Picture the tiniest, most perfect jewel, radiating immense, powerful light gleaming in, the endless Arabian desert. What do you see? A sparkling gem representing divine wisdom, waiting for you to grasp its meaning. And while you ponder this, you can't help but chuckle at how this may well outshine that friend who has a medical degree but can barely keep a succulent plant alive, much less acquire wisdom. As the sun dips below the horizon, painting the skies in deep, dreamy shades of orange and lavender, let's unravel what this abundance really implies. Were early believers receiving divine notes whispered in sands? Don't worry, dear seeker, I see you. There's plenty of wisdom to go around. Just grab a hot cup of knowledge while you're at it. What do you think the preachers would say? Gather around, friends. Let's brew some thoughts. But this surah isn't just about blessings. It represents resilience. In a world that often felt like it was bearing down 100 tons of cargo on a not-so-well-trained camel, it stands as a beacon of hope and encouragement. Imagine the joy of realizing that even the smallest verse could reshape lives. It's like learning you can put a whole walnut in your mouth without choking, and then realizing it only helps if you remember how to chew first. Let's not forget that while history can sometimes feel like a slow dance with giant sunflowers swaying rhythmically, the delivery of this chapter was anything but mundane. While you sit comfortably in your imagined tent with lush cushions, looking out into the vast desert, every single moment of divine revelation must have felt like unwrapping a treasure box full of cosmic surprises. As the moon phases shift overhead and the quiet of the night envelops you, reflect on how profound it is that the secrets held within this tiny chapter have been pried open, analyzed, and celebrated over countless centuries. Much like that last slice of cake at a party everyone pretended to ignore, but deep down, you just know who will claim it. Now that you've witnessed the greatness of Surah Al-Kawthar, its simplicity and depth, remember, as you drift into slumber, even the smallest of hearts can hold the mightiest of treasures, often waiting for you to dig a little deeper to unveil them. May your dreams shine as brightly as that perfect jewel in Mecca, guiding you through the rich tapestry of wisdom and abundance. So, as we close the curtain on this whimsical journey tonight, dear friends, let the luminous light of divine revelation illuminate your dreams. Remember that wisdom and joy can be found in the simplest of things, much like that last speck of waffle stuck between your couch cushions, waiting to be rediscovered. Until we meet again, may your nights be filled with tranquility and your hearts compelled towards the most delightful tales of joy and wisdom. Sweet dreams. Chapter 14. The Celestial Mosaic of Divine Guidance. Salam alaikum, dear listeners. Tonight, we plunge into a wondrous universe, one where each star functions like an ancient post office, delivering cosmic letters of wisdom across the ages. Picture this soaring beyond your wildest dreams. You're less than a blink away from a celestial map where lines of divine guidance stretch like intricate spiderwebs, intertwining across continents and oceans. Yes, my friends, it's a little like an online shopping spree, but without the delivery fees, and significantly more profound. As we embark on this voyage, take a moment to snag a cozy blanket, drape it around your shoulders like a royal shawl, and let your eyelids grow heavy. Make sure to dim the lights, engage that fan, and sink into a realm of comfort. Also, while we're settling in, ever wonder if prehistoric humans debated over which rock was the most aesthetically pleasing? Or if they gathered around their fire pits, wondering whether to invent the wheel or a wheel of cheese? Alas, the mysteries of time. Congratulations! You've just woken up in 610 CE, a time where the dawn of a new era is unfolding. The winds of change ripple through the sandy streets of Mecca, and everywhere you turn, life is bustling with energy. Merchants shout prices louder than announcement systems at a modern-day sports event, and children run about, hoping they won't trip while jostling for the last piece of sweet date cake, resembling a tiny race of sugar-fueled superheroes. Now that you're settled, let's delve deeper into the essence of this celestial map, a vivid tapestry of divine messages gently coursing toward every soul on the planet. Imagine, if you will, that each line of guidance represents an invisible thread of light, crisscrossing the vast oceans and rolling hills, touching the hearts of people from every race and background like a deeply empathetic hug from the universe. In those moments, you can almost hear the echo of laughter, the gentle weeping of gratitude, and even the occasional howl of joy as knowledge embraces the hearts of eager seekers. As we traverse this divine landscape together, allow your imagination to wander. Picture a time when the world was still intertwined with myths and legends, where humans grouped under vast stars, believing their fates were written in the constellations above. Now fast forward a little, and you'll see how us mere mortals from diverse cultures began peering through the veils of ignorance, like squinting at a reflection while mistakenly thinking we had the best hairstyle. This quest for knowledge was like discovering that the sky wasn't, in fact, just a ceiling, but an open invitation to reach out to the divine. But wait, let's pause to imagine a gathering of early believers. They would sit around and exchange ideas, thoughts, and even playful banter, with the flickering flicks of candlelight illuminating their eager faces. Ever wonder if they asked each other silly questions about the universe? Perhaps someone joked about those strange glowing things up there. Are they the second cousin's lights from the next village over? You could almost see the suspense in the air, thick enough to slice with a knife, as they contemplated uncharted territories of thought. Gentle listener, brace yourself for the twists and turns of history as this cosmic exchange unfolds. The revelations, like days taking turns on a calendar, flowed seamlessly into their lives. Consider those moments when wisdom cascaded downward in precious droplets, landing softly on thirsty hearts, ready to sprout into something majestic. It was as if future generations were whispering, "Dear seekers of knowledge, do not fret. The universe is brimming with invisible threads linking us all." As the sun dipped beneath the horizon, quite dramatically, I might add, The characters of this wondrous world began to illuminate you with heartfelt words. "You are beautiful," they would say in whispers. "You are part of something unimaginably great." Each of these softly spoken phrases tethered beautifully across distances and time frames, just as you and I are bound together through the miracle of storytelling tonight. And finally, what of laughter? Imagine the gatherings, pulsating with both wisdom and humor. Every so often, someone would lightheartedly quip, "I mean, if you've ever tried to catch a breeze to cool your tea, you know how utterly useless that can be." The humor served as a balm for souls navigating their intricate lives, reminding them that amid profound truths, it was perfectly fine to giggle at their small predicaments. In those beautiful threads of wisdom, a rich quilt extends from person to person, bridging the gaps between cultures, timelines, and experiences. The divine guidance, much like navigating a map without a GPS, beckons every traveler on Earth to share in an interlaced history, approaching finest realms of understanding. With every soul bonded in this endeavor, new light emerges, guiding us back toward our ultimate purpose. As you drift further into sleep's embrace, ponder the universality of this celestial map, a continuous arc that offers a sense of belonging to every soul. Just as the crescent moon waxes and wanes, embodying the cycles of existence, so does every moment of connection, lingering like the sweet scent of jasmine wafting through the air. May this evening's tale unravel like threads of enlightenment, connecting you with a greater understanding of life's divine blueprint. Enter your dreams with this vibrant tapestry of wonder wrapped around your heart, leading you closer to the divine light awakening within you. So, as we gently draw the curtains on tonight's celestial journey, let the radiant threads of divine wisdom illuminate your dreams. Remember, the guidance of the universe is not just for the past, but resonates within us all. Before you slip into slumber, if you felt even the slightest flicker of inspiration from tonight's stories, do consider giving a thumbs up or sharing your thoughts. Only if you truly enjoyed it, of course. Until we meet again in this wondrous realm, may your nights be filled with exquisite tranquility, and your hearts prepare to embrace the most delightful tales of wonder and wisdom. Sweet dreams. Chapter 15. The Scroll of Rites. Salam alaikum, dear listeners. Tonight we dive into a historical moment that's more heartwarming than a fresh batch of baklava on a lazy afternoon. Picture this. It's 610 CE, and we're strolling through the sun-drenched streets of Mecca, where the whispers of change flutter like banners in the breeze, and you're about to witness a truly revolutionary act. Now, before we embark on this enchanting journey, could you please dim those lights, crank up that fan, and wrap yourself in a blanket as if it were a cozy hug from your favorite grandparent? And while we're settling in, have you ever pondered if folks back then rolled their eyes at neighbors blasting music from their tents? Or did they secretly hold dance parties by moonlight? Ever considered the existential crisis of deciding which camel to ride into town? You know, do I want speed or sass? Ah, congratulations! You've just woken up in 610 CE, where the sun shines brighter than a newly polished sword, and the chatter of merchants fills the air like the harmonic buzz of busy bees. Now, as you walk these bustling streets, the excitement is as palpable as the aroma of roasted lamb wafting through the marketplace. Don't be surprised if you spot a few merchants competing for your attention, with offers so lavish you'd think they were trying to win you over at a bizarre version of The Bachelor. But let's focus on a remarkable woman named Khadija, a force of nature selling silk and spices like there's no tomorrow. Imagine her walking with all the confidence of someone who knows every single sale and her rights by heart, all while considering whether to adopt a pet falcon or a goat. As a respected, strong businesswoman, Khadija stands tall in a male-dominated society, and her very presence is challenging norms, brighter than a lantern in a dark cave. Now, wouldn't that make for a great reality show? One day, a curious little scroll arrives at Khadija's doorstep, a fine piece of parchment with ink that glimmers like the night sky. It details her rights, dignity, and economic place in society. Can you fathom the excitement in her heart? It's like getting an official invitation to the best party in town, but this would reshape her reality. Khadija unfolds the scroll. The parchment rustles softly, mimicking the whispers of history. The scroll reveals a legal acknowledgement of her right to own property, engage in trade, and soar like an eagle rather than being tethered like a goat tied to the fence. Wow! Who knew this ancient world had such flair? She chuckles. The words on the parchment dance off the page, liberating the air around her and bringing an often unheard symphony of rights into her life. Now, picture the scene. Her eyes widen as she laughs quietly. Well, what do you know? I could have used this scroll during my last negotiation with that grumpy merchant down the street. Let's take a moment to dwell on the societal backdrop of this extraordinary event. While many women of that era faced limitations that could rival the tightest girdle, Khadija stands as a beacon of defiance, breaking stereotypes like a ninja, slicing through the dark of the night. Her intelligence sparkles like jewels in the evening sun as she gathers women around her, sharing the news like the gossipy neighbor with the juiciest stories. You can almost hear them chuckling at the idea of women being relegated to the sidelines. As her friends gather, they discuss the implications of this monumental scroll. Imagine if we formed a trading company. The Sassy Women of Makkah, suggests one enthusiastically. Another adds, and we could sell fabulous textiles adorned with funny slogans. I trade, therefore I am. The laughter is contagious, echoing through the marketplace, and you can't help but feel the warmth of their camaraderie and spirited ambitions. With the dawn of this newfound awareness, Khadija's heart quickens at the prospects. How about some sweet date deals in the marketplace? No more settling for 2 jars of honey when I can haggle for 6. The scroll doesn't just speak of rights. It ignites the fires of ambition and transforms traditional narratives. As the sun dips beneath the horizon, painting the sky with pinks and purples, we see Khadija embarking on a new chapter. The bustling market becomes her platform. With each transaction, she grins, "You want to buy my silk? Only if you agree to my terms, dear merchant." Oh, how the stunned faces of the tradesmen must have turned into a hilarious comedy, seeing women wielding power like swords. Soon she starts to bring women together and organize small gatherings, empowering the ladies of Makkah. "Let's harness this energy like an unruly stampede of camels," she declares, as the women gather around in approval. The laughter echoes loudly in their small circles, each chuckle pushing societal boundaries just a little further. Imagining a gathering, someone might have jokingly said, "Let's just hope none of us mistakenly orders a camel bejeweled with sparkles. We'd end up having a sip of water while our camels are busy stealing the show." The lighthearted humor fills the air, and it's a delightful reminder that even in struggles, laughter brings them together. As the gathering scatters, Khadija skips back home, knowing the scroll represents so much more than words. It symbolizes her rights, her truths, and most importantly, her place in the grand tapestry of society. A place where she shines as bright as a shooting star, cutting through the night sky. So, dear listeners, as we settle into the comforting embrace of our pillows and blankets, let the story of Khadija and her revolutionary scroll fill you with warmth and inspiration. Drift peacefully into your dreams, where the tales of strong women soar high, and rights flourish like wildflowers in spring. Outro. As we gently close this chapter of history, let's carry Khadija's spirit of empowerment into our dreams. The world of possibilities is limitless, dear listener, where laughter will always color the lives of those who dare to write their destinies. If this tale brought even a smirk to your lips or a flutter to your heart, do consider giving a thumbs up and sharing your thoughts. Only if you truly enjoyed it, of course. Until next time, May your nights be sprinkled with inspiration and filled with beautiful stories that ignite your dreams. Sweet dreams. Chapter 16. Beneath the Crescent Moon. Salam alaikum, dear listeners. Tonight, we journey to a time that's as soft and lovely as a warm loaf of bread fresh from the oven. Picture the year 610 CE, right here in Makkah. The air is filled with the scent of spice, most notably the sweet, sticky residue of figs, and the sounds of the marketplace are buzzing like a hive of bees with gossip and haggling. Now, before we tumble deeper into this historical fairy tale, I invite you to dim those lights, turn on that fan, and snuggle up in your blankets as if they were the loving embrace of 1,000 hugs. Remember, we are right here together, floating through time. Have you ever pondered what it was like to negotiate trades without the option of an email chain? Or how carrying goods on your back was the true form of getting weighed down by your responsibilities? What if you were trying to convince your neighbors that your new goat was friendlier than theirs, with no Instagram to back it up? Congratulations. You've just woken up in 610 CE, where the moon shines brightly, casting shadows that dance like happy children across the sandy streets. Now, latch onto these images. The gentle crooning of night creatures serenading the soft winds, the vibrant colors of the bazaars spilling into the night, and the soft flicker of lanterns, illuminating faces that reflect every emotion from joy to mischief. Meet Khadija, a woman sweeter than the dates she sells, yet as strong and resilient as the sturdy tents pitched by the market. As she strolls beneath the glowing crescent moon, she stands proud, known for her business acumen as much as for her unwavering faith and kindness. She is not just an entrepreneur, she's a pioneer in a world where women's voices often echoed like sounds in an empty canyon. Now, can you imagine a woman in a male-dominated marketplace discussing trade deals with the bravado of a Hollywood star on award night? But what makes Khadija unique is her depth. Not just a savvy merchant, but a woman of substance, respected impeccably. Her heart sparkles brighter than the stars above. Think of her not just as a businesswoman, but as a superhero without a cape. Her superpower being the ability to charm both men and women, and, equally important, to manage the chaos of a busy market like a maestro conducts a symphony. One fateful night, while sipping on a cup of aromatic rose tea, she hears whispers that tickle her ears, rumors about a certain man named Muhammad. You know, he's quite the catch, some say. Handsome and honest. They say he's been contemplating life in a cave. Khadija, who delights in a good story, raises an eyebrow. A cave? Sounds like my last vacation. Imagine the Instagram pics. But this curiosity soon turns into admiration. This man exhibits qualities, the kind that even a savvy businesswoman like herself can respect. Honesty, compassion, and an uncanny wisdom that is beginning to draw people in. One evening beneath the magical crescent moon, as the world around her holds its breath, she finally meets him. There's a spark in the air, as palpable as the sweet smell of fresh koobs wafting through the streets. They converse, their words weaving together like the threads of a beautiful tapestry. Your price for silk is intriguing, Khadija. Yet I must remind you, negotiation is an art form. I come prepared to barter, Muhammad quips, a playful glint in his eyes. Khadija, always quick on her feet, leans in. But we both know that my silks are like my heart, priceless. The laughter that follows rises up to the stars, echoing fatefully into the universe. But really, what captured her heart most was not his charm alone. It was the light in his eyes, a glimpse into his inner strength that shone like the full moon reflecting upon the serene waters of a quiet lake. As days pass, every glance with Muhammad warms her heart, igniting a feeling that is as profound as the sweetest vintage honey. He embodies everything her heart has ever desired: faith, integrity, respect. Khadija, a woman unafraid to pave her path, soon takes an enormous leap. Why not enter equity? Let's establish a partnership, she muses out loud, enchanting those around her. What do you think the men in the market must have thought? A woman not just within the marketplace, but ruling it? Traders trading glances like soccer fans at a tense match. The moon witnessed their union, not simply as a tender romantic entanglement, but as a sacred partnership, destined to endure trials that would echo through the corridors of history. And then there came a night cloaked in silence, thicker than the incense burning at the local shrine. Muhammad receives the first verses of the Quran in a cave, a moment that would forever shape their lives. Khadija, the steadfast partner, becomes the first believer, her heart swelling with a pride that creates ripples across the sands of time. The echoes of their laughter morph into whispers of resilience, pushing against the tide of adversity they would face together. We aim for the stars, and if we fall, well then the moon shall catch us, Khadija would often joke, and they both cherished that laughter. Imagine the spirited debate, nights spent discussing revelations, pondering their implications, while snickering at the trials of life's highs and lows. They created a world all their own, ignited with hope and bound by faith. And as the whispers of the final revelation filled Mecca, Khadija stood resolute, an enduring symbol of faith, equality, and strength. As we transition from this moment of grace and beauty, let's reflect on the woman who stood under the crescent moon, her heart ablaze, guiding the world not just with her wisdom, but with laughter and love that transcended her time. Ah, dear listeners, may the tales of Khadija grant you calmness as you nestle into your blankets, illuminating your dreams with stories of courage, love, and divine destiny. As we draw this magical chapter to a close, let Khadija's journey guide you through the winding paths of your dreams. May her laughter echo softly in your heart, filling you with an inspiration as endless as the vast desert sky. If you found a wink of laughter tonight, or felt a flicker of joy, do consider giving a thumbs up and sharing your thoughts. Only, of course, if you truly enjoyed it. Until next time, may your nights sparkle with blessings and your dreams be as rich as the vibrant stories we share. Sweet dreams. Chapter 17. The Gathering Under the Celestial Dome. Salam alaikum, dear listeners. Tonight, we traverse the sands of time back to the incredible year of 610 CE, where life unfolds like an enchanting scroll, revealing stories as captivating as your favorite series binge. Picture this. Under a sky sprinkled with stars like confetti on a cloudy day, a vibrant gathering of tribes and nations, their hearts collectively beating in rhythm with an elusive yet powerful truth. Ever tried crowd surfing your way through a family reunion, with assorted relatives arguing over whose biryani reigns supreme? Well, congratulations. You've just woken up amidst the bustling crowd of Makkah, just as our celestial tale unfolds like a smooth pre-iftar date, tempting yet wholesome. Imagine the scene. Caravans of traders and wanderers from distant lands converge upon the sacred city, each skin tone as diverse as a rainbow made of spices, ginger, cumin, turmeric, each person bringing their unique stories and whispered hopes to this cosmic melting pot under the crescent moon. Can you picture their faces? Maybe someone half-heartedly trying to hold a serious discussion, while a goat, quite possibly more interested in the evening snacks, casually strolls into the frame. Ah, the goat may as well have been the unofficial mascot of this bustling tableau. But I digress, dear friends. Let's pull back the curtain and gaze into this historical panorama. Here, under the celestial dome, not a single person stands with their head held higher than others. Each is humbled, standing together as equals, recognizing that righteousness is the sole measure of nobility. Yes, my dear listeners, nobody struts around triumphantly declaring, "I've got the fanciest robe." Instead, they are adorned in simple garments, modest, yet adorned with stories of resilience, sacrifice, and faith. Imagine this: one tribe recounting how they outsmarted a rival in a trade deal, while the next collective is reminiscing about the time they confused their camels with their aunt's prized goats. You can practically hear the laughter interwoven into the air, wrapping around each heart like a warm embrace. Weaving in and out of these tales are affiliates of the Spirit, those who wear humility and grace like a badge of honor. As they share in both joy and hardship, you can almost swipe left on the chaos like you were scrolling through Instagram. Oh, a tribe from Yemen? How intriguing. Oh wait, these Bedouins just roasted a goat? Let's pause and live in this moment. Each gathered soul holds within their heart a piece of something greater, a spark of understanding that transcends their tribal identities. They don't carry signs declaring, "Look at me, I'm superior." Instead, it's a shared awareness that righteousness isn't about lineage or wealth, but the goodness that radiates from the individual. And our friend Muhammad, peace be upon him, stands quietly in the backdrop, taking all of this in. He's not center stage yet, but you can bet he's quietly nodding, appreciating the human spirit's beautiful tapestry being woven before him. Now, let's add a sprinkle of humor to this tapestry. Imagine if someone accidentally dropped a date while trying to make a grand point about justice. A ripple of laughter would roll through the crowd, reminding them that even the most serious discussions can benefit from a little comic relief. Yes, my dear listeners, it's decidedly human to stumble now and then, even if that stumble results in a date rolling noisily into the nearby keg of water, creating an imaginative splash that resembles culinary art. Let's pause for a moment and think. What would it feel like to stand shoulder to shoulder with individuals from varied backgrounds, sharing laughter, hopes, and wisdom under the vast expanse of the starry sky? Perhaps someone from the north with a lively tale about nearly getting lost during their last trade expedition. Meanwhile, the southern tribes share stories of chasing elusive mirages that turned out to be nothing more than hot air. As the sound of joyful chatter fills the air, it becomes crystal clear. Life is a shared experience, as rich and vibrant as the stars above them. The sand beneath their feet tells tales of struggles, resilience, and faith, while the soft breeze carries messages like a gentle whisper from the skies. And thus, dear listeners, this gathering exemplifies something profoundly sacred, a collective understanding that transcends mere tribal or ethnic distinctions. What a brave world it must have seemed, a space where one's proximity to righteousness mattered more than a lineage, a realm where people didn't measure greatness by lineage, but by the kindness sparking within their very souls. As we navigate this historical narrative with a sprinkle of humor and a backdrop of unity, take a moment to appreciate the profound stance these early believers took. They led with love, courage, and faith. In a world far too often divided by trivial pursuits of wealth and power, these humble pilgrims grasped the core essence of what it means to be part of something larger, the vast, interconnected web of humanity. Let's pause here, cherishing this beautiful gathering illuminated by celestial wisdom, preparing our hearts for the next chapter where we delve deeper into the dawning age of enlightenment. As we draw the curtain on this enchanting chapter, may the light of unity and humility guide your dreams. Remember the warmth of shared laughter and the beauty of community weaving through the fabric of your subconscious tonight. If you found a nugget of joy in our whimsical journey through time, do consider sharing your thoughts and giving a thumbs up, only if it tickled your fancy, of course. Until we meet again, may your nights be filled with peace and your hearts with inspiration. Sweet dreams. Chapter 18. The Illuminated Pathway of Revelation. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Tonight we embark on a journey more illuminating than your favorite late-night playlist. The whispers of divine revelation in 610 CE, a time when life was as lively as a family wedding dance party. Picture yourself nestled in a warm, cozy blanket, where the air feels crisper than a freshly opened packet of your favorite chips. You might want to grab a pillow, for we are diving deep into the iconic desert landscape of Mecca, where every grain of sand whispers tales of early belief and hope. Now, before we travel back over 1,400 years, let's set the stage with some contemporary comedic musings. Have you ever tried to explain your life choices to your auntie at a family gathering, all while dodging the question of when you're getting married? Or perhaps you found yourself awkwardly sipping tea with your boss, while inwardly pleading for the meeting to end faster than a car alarm at 3 a.m. Those moments, my dear friends, paled in comparison to the comedic yet earnest exchanges happening amidst the bustling souks of Mecca, where the air was ripe not only with the scent of spices, but also with zeal for truth. Now, as you settle deeper into your cozy nook, dim the lights and take a deep breath. Congratulations! You've just woken up in the great era of 610 CE, surrounded by a diverse tapestry of tribes and cultures, each more colorful than a box of crayons on a Monday morning. See that? Is that an impromptu poetry battle brewing just beyond the firelight? Or perhaps it's just individuals trying to outdo each other's camel racing stories. Ah, the drama of it all. Envision this. In the distance, there's a beautiful cave known as Hira, nestled in the rugged heights just outside Mecca, like the best-kept secret in town. It may not have the latest Wi-Fi or a gourmet coffee shop, but what it does have is a sense of solitude, as essential for the soul as a good slice of baklava after a long day. This cave is about to become the meeting point for heaven and earth. And speaking of meetings, what about those awkward moments when you realize you've accidentally joined the wrong Zoom call? Well, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was just about to have the most monumental meeting of his life, one that would reforge the path of humanity itself. As whispers of restlessness filled the intricate streets, our beloved Prophet, Muhammad, peace be upon him, took to the serene embrace of the cave. There, in the peaceful stillness, he finds the space to reflect, maybe even contemplating whether the stars above are more reliable than the local markets. And then, everything changes. In a moment that felt as erratic and unexpected as that time you realized the milk had turned sour right before making your morning oats, the angel Gabriel, descends into the silence. Imagine Jibril swooping down, filling the cave with a radiant aura, and suddenly proclaiming, "Read!" But here's the kicker. The prophet, peace be upon him, responds with, "I'm not really a reader." Picture the angel giving a knowing nod, as if he's heard that line before. That sacred push, "Read in the name of your Lord," rings louder than the sharpest alarm at dawn. This wasn't just any directive. It was a glorious invitation to embark on a transformative journey, sparking a yearning for understanding that would echo through the annals of time. The first words cascading down felt like a lifeline thrown into a sea of confusion. "Read, in the name of your Lord who created." As these verses illuminated the cave, imagine what it must have been like. A spotlight in the darkness, casting away uncertainties and forging a clear path of purpose like the best GPS navigation. The very first lines of what we now cherish as the Quran became a direct connection between humanity and the divine, a constant supplication for guidance, akin to the universal wish for a good parking spot on a busy evening. As we delve deeper into this extraordinary narrative, the ambience of the Mecca marketplace pulsates in the background. Can you hear it? Merchants haggling over the price of dried dates, families sharing bites of freshly baked bread and, by the way, trying to convince each other that theirs is the best bread recipe ever. Laughter dances in the air, mingling with the profound wisdom beginning to unfurl like a flower greeted by morning sunlight. With every revelation, the cries for justice and compassion were woven into the very fabric of this changing society, like your grandma insisting on bringing her famous dessert to every family function no matter what. The The subtle melodies of righteousness started to blend seamlessly with the stories, creating a harmonious tune that echoed beyond tribal lines, beckoning to all who were willing to listen. And just like that, in this humble landscape, the cosmos began aligning, and not a single soul there stood taller than the others in righteousness. Equality took center stage amidst the colorful tapestry of tribes, as if all the users of social media had united to declare, "No more highlighting our differences. Let's share the good stuff." Then came the moments of humor that would even make the stoic desert breeze chuckle. Picture one of the early believers challenging another to recite a Quranic verse, only for it to slip away in the wind. Perhaps it landed gracefully on a camel's back, much to the animal's bemusement. You can just imagine the sound of collective laughter echoing across the sands. After all, who could resist a little levity in a time marked by monumental change? Finally, dear friends, as we gently wind down this glimpse into the divine, let's cherish these first threads of the Quran woven into the American tapestry of human history. Just like the unexpected joys of life urge us to find meaning in the mundane, these first revelations
remind us of our enduring quest for truth, guiding us with their poignant wisdom even today. So close your eyes and let these verses wrap around you like the softest blanket. May you carry the embers of enlightenment into your dreams tonight as we prepare for the next chapter in this thrilling adventure of faith and discovery. As we bring this chapter to a gentle close, may the light of divine wisdom linger like a sweet scent in your heart. Remember, dear friends, each word is a treasure waiting to illuminate your path. If our whimsical journey through time brought a smile to your face or warmth to your soul, consider sharing your joy with others and giving us a thumbs up. But only if you truly enjoyed this adventure. Until we meet again, may your nights be filled with serenity and your dreams rich with inspiration. Sweet dreams. Chapter 19. The Radiant Beam of Hope. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Imagine it's a stormy night with dark clouds swirling in the sky. You're tucked up in bed, feeling more anxious than that time your phone auto-corrected a text to your boss. Tonight, we're about to dive into a beautiful moment of divine revelation, more brilliant than the sun breaking through a murky haze, or at least your last attempt at baking a cake. As we slip into our story, I invite you to dim the lights around you, snuggle into your blankets, and take a few deep breaths. Picture this. Have you ever tried to make sense of a chaotic situation, only to have one clear thought emerge like a lighthouse shining through fog? Or maybe you found yourself so overwhelmed by anxiety that a simple cup of chamomile tea felt like a spa day. Well, grab your imaginary life jackets, because we're riding the waves of emotions all the way back to 610 CE. Congratulations, you've just woken up in a Mecca, where whispers of prayers mingle with the sounds of bustling markets and street vendors selling spices that smell better than your favorite dish simmering on the stove. Picture this. The sky is cloudy and foreboding, a little too dramatic for a Thursday afternoon, don't you think? The winds howl as though they're gossiping about someone's camel, probably the one that just lost a race. But amidst all this gloom, there comes a ray of light, stronger than your morning coffee. Imagine yourself standing on a high cliff overlooking this scene, the stormy clouds heavy in the air. Now, the clouds aren't just bad news, they represent everything weighing down the heart. Unsure whether to go for a walk or grab a blanket and a bag of popcorn, you take a moment to sigh deeply. But then, lo and behold, a single beam of sunlight breaks through the darkness, much like that one inspirational meme that made you LOL during a particularly tough Monday. This divine beam slices through anxiety and grief, offering immediate hope. Can you see it? It's not just any light. It's the light of revelation spilling down to our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, as he finds solace in the cave of Hira. The moment is charged with anticipation, almost like the face you make while waiting for the kettle to boil, the eagerness that sends shivers down your spine. As you watch, clinging to your cozy blanket for reassurance, you might feel a flutter in your heart.
a blend of nervousness and excitement. Picture the prophet, peace be upon him, nestled in the serene cave, a contrast to the raucous world outside. He contemplates life and all it presents, mixing wonderment with that familiar feeling of existential dread. Why are we here? What are we meant to do? Suddenly, the calm is shattered. Enter stage left, the angel Gabriel, illuminating the cave with a radiance that would make your favorite lamp blush. A drum roll, please, because Jibril is here to deliver the
First message that will light up the world. Just as Jibril declares, "Read," you can almost hear the angels burst into song. But wait, our humble prophet, peace be upon him, is taken aback. Somewhat like when you mistakenly open the door to the fridge, only to find nothing but a desolate layout of expired condiments. "Read? I'm not really a reader," he exclaims. Let's take a moment to grasp the comedy of this exchange. Imagine an angel, bright and majestic, standing before you. You'd think he'd have a treasure map, right? Instead, he's got an urge for reading. It must be reminiscent of that time when you had a guest over and, thinking you'd impress them with your vast library, you realized they already read all your favorites. But with each command of "read," the atmosphere thickens. Even the storm clouds seem to listen intently, as if the heavens were holding their breath. And then, from the abyss of the darkness, rolls forth words of comfort. "Read in the name of your Lord who created." Imagine the tension transforming into tranquility, like pouring warm syrup over pancakes. There it is, hope cascading down like honey, rich, golden, and profound. Those very first lines create a silver thread leading humanity towards understanding and enlightenment. It's as if this simple act of reading becomes the lifeline thrown to a shipwrecked soul, assuring that not all is lost. As the verse continues, you wonder, are we perhaps a little like this, lost in the storm of life, wishing for a beacon? Whether it's the weight of modern expectations or the existential dread plaguing us during times of grief, this revelation becomes a guiding star, reminding us we're not adrift without a compass. Take a moment now, tongue-in-cheek, to imagine how that first reading day must have gone. Camel racing stories blooming into emotional debates about interpretations. A little like the current TikTok debates over the mythical best pasta sauce. Each revelation begins to weave hope into the people of Mecca's hearts, echoing through their daily lives. Is it a coincidence that with every verse revealed, laughter tends to traverse intellectual walls, just as the people find joyous validation in their struggles? Picture the townsfolk chuckling amidst a gathering, trading incredible tales of resilience, sorrows, and who had the best sheepskin. All this sparks a beautiful, cascading effect, illustrating the power of these words, transforming not just the initial recipients, but remaking the very fabric of their society. As we take a step back from this vibrant moment and close our eyes for a gentle breath, allow this narrative to swirl in gentle waves around you, like a lullaby, lulling you into restful contemplation. Let the hope wrapped in every syllable from that first revelation envelop your mind. In times of confusion and despair, remember, there's always a beam of light waiting to break through the clouds, illuminating your journey ahead. As we gracefully conclude this chapter and anchor our thoughts, may the calming light of hope linger in your heart, like the sweet aftertaste of your favorite dessert. Remember, dear friends, every word in our divine journey is painted with love and blessings, waiting to illuminate your path. If this whimsical ride through time made you smile, perhaps consider giving us a thumbs up or sharing your joy, but only if you genuinely enjoyed this adventure. Until we convene under the stars once again, may your nights be filled with serenity, and may sweet dreams chase away any lingering shadows. Sleep peacefully, and let the lessons of hope guide you through the night. Chapter 20. Nature's Whisper. The Signs of Creation. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Picture this, a peaceful night under a vast expanse,
with stars twinkling brighter than the sequins on Auntie Habiba's wedding dress. Tonight, we embark on a sleep journey more soothing than your grandma's secret chamomile tea recipe. What would the world look like if the mountains spoke? What if the rivers rushed by, whispering love stories to the trees? And, let's be honest, have you ever tried to have a serious conversation with your pet cat, only to realize it had lost interest 5 seconds in? Oh, the irony. So, let's dim those lights, fluff those pillows, and bring a gentle breeze into the room. Trust me, the only thing you need to focus on right now is the serenity of nature, coupled with a dose of unexpected giggles. Congratulations! You've just woken up in the early Islamic period of 610 CE, a time when a relatively unmarked chapter of history was about to ignite like a campfire on a chilly night. You find yourself on a rugged cliff in Mecca, where rocky mountains rise like the back of a protective giant, and below, a river gurgles as if it's gossiping about the latest happenings in town. Feel that cool breeze on your face? It's not just any breeze. It's nature's way of reminding you to breathe deeply, much like that time you found out your favorite shop was having a sale. The air is alive with scents of earth and stone, mixed with an elegant hint of jasmine, reminiscent of sweet memories. You hear the rustling of leaves, almost like they're rehearsing lines for a play. Oh look, there goes Muhammad, peace be upon him, again, lost in thought. And here you are, nestled on that cliff, contemplating the sights around you. The mountains, resolutely standing tall, almost seem to nod in approval. No pressure, but do take a moment to reflect on the wonders of creation, they seem to whisper, solid as a wall of kebab skewers at a bustling Makkah market. As you peer at the deep blue sky, the stars begin to blink, twinkling like they're accidentally starring in the best cosmic reality show. Can anyone get that star's attention? I need a star named Farida to stop stealing the spotlight. Perhaps you chuckle softly, for laughter is a reminder that life doesn't take itself so seriously. Oh, and have you ever noticed how rivers flow? This particular river tumbles down the rocky terrain, shimmering under the moonlight as if it donned a glittering gown for the occasion. You can almost hear it say, "I'm just trying to make waves in this world, literally." And like that, your heart dances to the rhythm of nature's lullaby. Isn't it fascinating that while you sit on this cliff, the universe is engaged in a cosmic conversation? Those mountains encapsulate thousands of years of history. Have they ever shot you a side eye, as if to say, "You think your Mondays are rough? Imagine our Sundays." Just then, a friendly gust of wind sweeps through the valley, disturbing the leaves in a way that's almost choreographed. You might even hear them murmuring, "Do you see that star over there? It could be a million light years away, or just your neighbor's overzealous Christmas decoration." The mountains, the rivers, the stars. It's an ensemble cast of divine artistry. Each element, an invitation to ponder over the Creator's handiwork. What if these natural wonders were actually forms of communication? Signs, perhaps. The mountain's peaks are not just for climbing, they tower as reminders of resilience, while the river flows as a metaphor for life, smooth in the easy moments, turbulent during challenges. Now let's dive a little deeper, shall we? Imagine yourself gazing at the stars, each twinkle a wish waiting to be granted. Is that a shooting star, or just a comet trying to steal the show? You chuckle softly, thinking about how many hopes people have cast on such celestial bodies. And just like that, the celestial body is an unintentional participant in your thoughts. The stars remind you that in the grand tapestry of existence, every creature, every pebble, every drop of water holds significance, reflecting the divine wisdom that binds the universe together. You can almost feel the Creator smiling upon those wide-ranging hills and valleys, just like an artist surveying their work. Finally, it dawns on you. Every mountain, every river, and every star carries a message, a reflection of you. You too are a tapestry of experiences, thoughts, and dreams. You're woven into this grand design. It's a soothing realization, calming your racing mind as you marvel at how each blessing flows like that ever-playful river, moving forward with purpose, day by day. As you nestle deeper into your blanket, your heart feels light. The mountains, rivers, and stars whisper secrets of existence, having made threads of connection woven into the very fabric of what it means to believe. Take a breath now, dear friend. Allow these reflections to glide through you like the warm glow of a sunset. Each flicker is a reminder that you're not alone. Just like that, the embrace of nature, with all its charms, will carry you peacefully into the depths of slumber, a haven of whispers and soft giggles that keep the heart alight. And there we gently float, my friends, toward the end of this chapter. Remember, amidst the hustle of daily life, may the whispers of nature resonate in your heart and guide you. If this journey left a warm smile on your face or tickled your funny bone, think about sharing it with your friends, only if you genuinely enjoyed this. Until we once again decorate the night sky with our laughter and stories, may your slumber be filled with peace. Sweet dreams, dear ones. Sleep cloaked in serenity, and let the universe share its magic with you. Chapter 21. Weighing Dignity, Women and Property Rights in Early Islam. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Let's journey back to an era when news spread faster than rumors about Aunt Fatima's cat having a spa day. Picture it, a warm breeze blowing through the streets of Mecca in 610 CE. Tonight, as you cozy up under your blanket, expect stories that are more riveting than last week's family dinner drama. Can you imagine trying to explain to your pet goldfish why you need it to help with the grocery shopping? Or how about explaining to your neighbor why your plant is taking a week-long vacation? Funny how things just don't quite make sense, right? Well, grab your metaphorical popcorn, because we're diving into the fascinating landscape of early Islamic rites. Now, let's set the mood. Dim those lights, turn on a gentle fan, and relax. You're in for a delightful ride. Ever wondered what it would be like for women to receive their rightful property shares? A right to dignity and economic freedom? What if every scale in the marketplace weighed not just grains, but also justice and equity? Imagine that. Congratulations, you've just awoken in 610 CE, a pivotal time when the world was about to witness groundbreaking changes, much more thrilling than the latest diet fad. Picture this. You're in Mecca, surrounded by charismatic traders who barter like pros at a second-hand market, trying to convince you that yesterday's dates are today's gourmet delights. The air carries the scent of spices and the echoes of laughter, but amidst it all, a crucial dialogue for humanity is brewing. So, let's take a stroll through this bustling marketplace where merchants are as colorful as the silks they sell. There's a lot more than hummus and shawarma. Today, it's about empowerment. You see women not only as spectators, but as active participants, capable of claiming property legally, like an ace in a card game. It's not just fantasy, it's a real conversation taking place beneath the scorching sun. But wait, how did we get here? What were those rights, and why were they so significant? You might as well be asking if your Aunt Amina's vintage scarf is more valuable than her current fashion choices. Let's take a closer look, shall we? As you wander through the lively stalls, you might overhear lively discussions about the newly awakened concept of women's rights. Yes, it's happening. Women are starting to receive shares of property like never before, and some are actually holding on to those scales, symbols of balance and justice. Who knew weighing your assets could be so exhilarating? Imagine walking down an ancient street while a woman named Zainab passionately debates with a merchant about the fairness of a new decree that grants her half of her father's estate. It's like a scene from a historical drama, and she's the star. The marketplace hushes for a moment, as though the ancient stones themselves want to hear her firm voice, standing tall against the tide of patriarchal norms. "Don't you dare forget," she might say. "I have just as much right to my father's house as you do to your dates." You chuckle, picturing the reaction of a few bewildered men in the market. Oh, great. Now we have to share our wealth, too? The way they huddle together, scratching their heads, suggests that this new movement disrupts their long-held traditions. The social norms of inheritance are starting to shift, each debate a step towards social justice, though nobody ever said change was easy. Deep in their conversations, you hear buzzwords floating like colorful kites in the sky: dignity, autonomy, economic independence. It's as if the very air sparkles with possibility, the promise of women crafting their destinies not just by the word of men, but alongside them. The desire for equity begins to weave itself into the culture, and every public dialogue is akin to the challenge thrown down in a poetic duel. Now let's take a moment to share a lighthearted comparison. It's like your cousin tried to convince everyone that pineapple belongs on pizza. Quite the debate, isn't it? But Uncle Ali, they'll argue, it's about taste, not tradition. Similarly, the new call for women's rights ran deeper than taste. The flavor of equity was just as necessary as spices and cooking. Now, stepping deeper into this historical narrative, let's embrace a sweet scent wafting toward you. Is it jasmine rising from the market's corner? No, it's the sweet smell of change. It fills the air, mingling with laughter as women negotiate their rightful shares. Just imagine the scene as they weigh their rights like precious spices, mixing old traditions with newly granted privileges. "Oh, dear scales," you might hear one woman exclaim. "How is it that you hold the weight of my dignity?" Her words resonate like revolutionary echoes, enticing curiosity and disbelief amongst onlookers. The camel herders pause, their camels seemingly nodding in agreement. It's all laughter and empowerment. As the sun begins to set behind the mountains, painting the sky with hues of orange and lavender, you realize this isn't just another market day. No, it's the dawn of a new era. The conversation about property rights is not merely about numbers on a scale. It's about social justice, an awakening. It's the start of an adventure that stretches far beyond these dusty streets. With every tick of the beat, the air thickens with anticipation. What comes next? What rebellion awaits this growing tide of women embracing their autonomy? The laughter lingers long after the day fades, ushering in a night filled with dreams of justice, equality, and empowerment, sprinkled with laughter and humor. As you close your eyes, drifting off into a peaceful slumber, remember that you were there, an observer of history in the making. These moments, more than just
Stories are echoes that will make ripples through time, building a world where everyone's rights are cherished and valued. Reflect on these vibrant exchanges, dear friend, as you embrace the tranquility of the night. May the laughter of the marketplace and the weight of justice bring you peace. Sleep well, and let the stories of resilience and bravery cradle you into the night. And so, we gently fade from this chapter, my friends. Remember that the air we breathe is filled with the whispers of those who dared to challenge the status quo. As you carry these stories in your heart, may they inspire you to be a force for change in your own world. If this journey left a smile on your face or tickled your funny bone, be sure to share it with your friends, only if you truly enjoyed it, of course. Until next time, may your dreams soar on the wings of empowerment and compassion. Good night, dear ones. Sleep soundly, wrapped in the warmth of history's embrace. Chapter 22. The Dusty Duel. Choices of Humanity in a Hopeful Landscape. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Tonight, we're to embark on a journey back in time to the dusty fields of 610 CE, Arabia, where it's as hot as your uncle's hot sauce at a family barbecue. Picture some epic showdowns reminiscent of movies where the hero faces off against a villain with hairdos more extravagant than a peacock's tail. We're diving into a moment of humanity that's more dramatic than a soap opera. Two individuals on a battlefield, weapons drawn, staring each other down. Now, before we get too carried away, let me ask you this. Ever find yourself in a situation where you had to choose kindness over, say, sending that passive-aggressive text to your cousin? Or
Ever thought about how trying to resolve an argument with your neighbor over fence placement is like negotiating a peace treaty with an angry cat? Sit back, dim those lights, and relax. You're about to witness a standoff that's more meaningful than deciding which flavor of ice cream to pick on a sweltering summer day. Congratulations! You've just woken up in 610 CE, a critical moment that finds you walking the parched lands of Arabia, where hope and conflict dance around like a couple at a wedding, awkwardly avoiding each other while trying to look impressive. In this very landscape, a duel unfolds. A duel not just of weapons, but of choices. On one side stands a brave soul, determined to respond to aggression with goodness, and on the other, a potential villain, perhaps just a little too invested in proving a point. Picture this: the sun, round and unforgiving, beats down on you, rhythmically reminding you of that time you decided to make homemade cookies without reading the recipe. Let's hope the fire's out. You look around and notice that even the earth seems nervous beneath your feet, the dusty ground practically holding its breath in anticipation. The contenders, let's call them Khalid and Amir, because why not, stand a mere stone's throw apart. Their swords glint menacingly in the harsh sunlight, almost like they've just been polished to reflect their owner's dramatic flair. Perhaps Khalid's sword even has a sequin or two? Amir, the not-so-wisely inclined one, may be dripping sweat solely from the pressures of feeling like he needs to assert dominance, like a cat marking its territory. You can almost hear the folks in the nearby village whispering, "I told you, they shouldn't have let Amir pick the venue." As the dust swirls, Khalid, a man of principle, decides it's time for a radical change of pace. He lowers his weapon and extends a hand toward Amir, fingers trembling just a smidge, as if asking, "Can we talk this out instead? Or at least discuss our future holiday plans?" The crowd gasps, astonished. Had Khalid just pulled off the greatest plot twist since the palm tree incident during last year's harvest festival? Seriously, can you imagine how those spectators felt? It's as if they're watching an intense competition on a cooking show, only to see one chef offer a plate of peace instead of a knife fight. The whispers ripple through the crowd like a gentle breeze. What's happening here? Is Amir going to take the bait or cook up more trouble? "Well, Khalid," Amir sneers, flashbacks of previous winning moments clouding his judgment. But there's a pause, an awkward silence as if the universe itself is waiting for the punchline. Khalid can feel the tension, an air thicker than the finest mid-afternoon haze. What if this becomes a trend? "How to win arguments without weapons. Coming soon to a farm near you." Amir, still conflicted, glances from his sword to Khalid's confident yet humble stance. Will he surrender his ego? Questions swirl around like ants at a picnic. Can strength be found in kindness? Is choosing peace the bravest thing one can do on a battlefield? Khalid silently hopes this moment is as historical as his grandmother's story about the great herding incident of '02. Then, with a flicker of realization, Amir finally lowers his weapon too. The crowd erupts. Cheers and shouts rise like trapped balloons suddenly freed into the air. Maybe this was the greatest thing since they discovered the art of making mint tea, sweet and refreshing. The atmosphere lightens, tension dissipating as laughter flies like kites in a gentle breeze. The moment unfolds into something beautifully absurd, a hard-fought peace where weapons remain sheathed while hearts begin to merge like ingredients into a delightful stew. You watch with relief, realizing that sometimes conflict can give birth to empathy, and serious moments can become a bit ridiculous, like trying to teach a goat how to dance. But friends, let's not skip to the happy ending just yet. What's next in the grand play of life? The choices they just made echo beyond this dusty battlefield, influencing the whispers of countless generations to come. Khalid's choice sparks conversations, paving the way for reconciliation that's as necessary as breath itself. Meanwhile, Amir might just need a gentle nudge or an insightful uncle
to learn that kindness may very well be the ultimate strength in a world of swords. So, as you close your eyes, let the echoes of Khalid and Amir paint your dreams with colorful scenes of wisdom. Perhaps you'll awaken inspired to tackle tomorrow's challenges, armed with compassion and a readiness to reach out rather than retaliate. May these stories of humanity permeate your heart, giving you a gentle reminder of the importance of responding to evils with goodness. Drift off to sleep, wrapped in this narrative of hope and laughter. And as we gently drift from this chapter, friends, let us carry Khalid and Amir in our hearts. Remember, in a world filled with confrontations, there's always a choice to respond with kindness, like swatting a pesky fly instead of
Launching a full-scale war. If tonight's journey sprinkled a little joy into your soul, don't hesitate to give a thumbs up, share it with your merry band of friends, or leave us a comment, only if you genuinely enjoyed our adventure. Until next time, may your dreams be as sweet and inspiring as a bowl of warm, freshly made dates. Good night, dear ones. Rest easy, knowing that kindness always paves the way to brighter tomorrows, Chapter 23. A Gentle Guardian. Love in a Vulnerable Moment. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Prepare to snuggle under your blankets as we venture back to 610 CE, a time when even the camels were better dressed than most of us at a family wedding. Picture this. The moon hangs like a silver coin in the sapphire sky, more enchanting than that last-minute vacation you booked to escape your in-laws. Yes, we're diving into the early Islamic period, a time buzzing with transformative energy, both enlightening and chaotic, as new ideas and revelations began to unfurl like the first bloom of spring. But before we venture too deep into the history books, let me ask you a few questions to pique your curiosity. Ever found yourself trying to coax a child to sleep, while also pondering how to balance bedtime stories with an impromptu puppet show? Or thought about how that one neighbor's snoring sounds almost like a herd of cows mooing in a harmonized chorus, keeping you awake at ungodly hours? Imagine if one of those history buffs from 610 CE could pop into your living room and join in the fun. So, let's kick back, dim those lights, and settle in. Feel that warmth? It's not just the blanket, it's the tender aura surrounding our next story. You're about to witness not just the battles of men, but the significant battles fought in secret, where the quietest whispers hold the loudest truths. Congratulations! You've just woken up in 610 CE, where children play freely in the dust and soot of a bustling market, like puppy dogs competing for the last slice of meat pie. Yet beneath the sun-kissed chaos, deeper stories unfold. A sweeping narrative woven with compassion, guardianship, and, yes, a pinch of humor. In this moment, let's meet a remarkable figure, a gentle guardian. Imagine someone whose heart beats not just for themselves, but for the vulnerable, the marginalized, and, in this case, a sleeping child, our unsung hero, Halima. Now, Halima isn't your average guardian, no sir. She's more attuned to the whims of children than the most seasoned babysitter in the modern age. On this particular evening, Halima tiptoes quietly into a small room where the cool night air meets the warm scent of spices lingering from the evening meal. Inside, a child lies peacefully, dreaming of adventures on a carpet that flies higher than the flock of goats grazing outside. Perhaps unicorns and treasure hunts, but certainly no in-laws. Halima approaches, her heart swelling like one of those balloons at a wedding, more vibrant with each step. As she gently places a protective shield, woven from the whispers of bedtime stories and warm embraces, over the little one could almost hear the cosmic sigh of relief from weary parents everywhere. It's a clasp of warmth and security, meant to honor and protect. The child's dreams like delicate birds resting beneath her caring hand. Now, how does one symbolize honor in such a grand tradition of kindness? Perhaps by contrasting Halima's gentle care with the sheer chaos of life outside. On one side of the door, the merchants haggle like over-caffeinated squirrels in August,
while in another corner, a group of men vehemently debates the future of their faltering, sand-covered irrigation plans, sweat pouring like bad decisions on a Sunday afternoon. Little do they know, an even larger debate rages silently, a battle for the souls of children in a time of uncertainty. And then there's the laughter that travels on the breeze, a child's giggle, bouncing joyfully from the little room, bringing light into the dim halls of the old village. Halima, with her heart full of grace, knows precisely the power that simple, loving gestures yield. When she looks at that child, her thoughts swirl amid echoes from ancient sages, declaring that every soul is a treasure deserving nurturing. Ever ask yourself why we often forget to slow down? Halima doesn't make that mistake. Armed with love and fierceness, she stands ready to defend, not just against physical threats, but the intricacies of a world that can seem perplexingly unkind at times. Each protective act she enacts symbolizes the value of caring for the marginalized, the forgotten and oftentimes overlooked. It's in these mundane yet transformative moments that true guardianship reveals itself, highlighting a love that taps into the larger fabric of humanity. Imagine if an ancient poet were to pen an ode about Halima. It would read like a warm sunset that kisses the horizon, inviting every passerby to witness its magic. And just as you're lost in the reflection of Halima's glorious mission, a stray cat meows outside the window with a fervor that could wake the dead. The juxtaposition of whimsy and vulnerability solidifies the need for protecting those who can't protect themselves. Perhaps, in a world laden with chaos, it's those gentle moments of compassion that unmask the divine beauty inherent in humanity. As you settle deeper into this narrative, embrace the echoes of Halima's story, a gentle tale rich with illustrations of honor and unwavering love. This chapter unfolds to remind us that true guardianship is expressed through actions small and mighty, the love that yields strength and courage against the tides of public indifference. So, close those eyes lightly as we swirl into the dreams of Halima and that sleeping child. May we find in those whispers the threads encouraging us to inspire all children to dream bigger, love fuller, and stand tall against the storms of life. When we awaken, let's carry Halima's spirit within us, a gentle reminder that in a world where the marginalized can often be forgotten, there exists a sacred command: care, honor, and uplift. And here we drift gently from this chapter, friends. Let Halima's love resonate within as we continue our journeys in this chaotic world, finding strength amidst vulnerability. Remember,
Even the simplest acts of kindness can be monumental. If tonight's journey into the past warmed your heart like a bowl of fresh dates, don't forget to give a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and sprinkle a comment if you truly enjoyed our adventure. Until next time, may your dreams be wrapped in the comforting wools of compassion, navigating every night with the love of a guardian near. Sleep well, dear ones. May kindness be your guiding star, Chapter 24. The Deteriorating Giant, Tales of a Cracked Colossus. Salam alaikum, dear friends. As we settle in tonight, you might want to brace yourself. Picture the scene. It's 6:10 CE, and the sky has put on its finest hues, colors fading, just like the dreams of that one friend who insists they'll start exercising next week. Did you ever wonder what it would be like to live among statues so grand they might just feel a little pretentious? You know, the kind that puts your auntie's collection of figurines to shame? Tonight, we dive into a curious tale of a colossal statue, which, much like the last slice of cake at a party, is beginning to crack and crumble. Now, let's take a moment to imagine. Have you ever had a day so long that you're convinced it has its own gravitational pull? Or felt like your best-laid plans crumbled faster than a cheap taco on taco night? Do you think that maybe, just maybe, the folks of 610 CE got fed up waiting for a statue as high as the mountains to take a selfie with? Or better yet, When was the last time you felt like your towering ambitions were met with a little more than a risible smirk? Congratulations, you've just woken up in 610 CE, where grandeur meets humility beneath the sun. Skeptical, aren't you? Well, here's the deal. You find yourself gazing at a statue, a giant made of stone, partially eroded, its once proud expression muddied by time and nature, looking almost too human with its cracks resembling life's wear and tear. You might say it's the before picture of a divine makeover. This grand structure towers above you, an ambitious feat of human imagination from a time when people sculpted colossal representations of hope, grandeur, and, let's be honest, more than a touch of narcissism. This statue is surrounded by verses delivered as gentle reminders, proclaiming that no matter how high you aspire, you'll not quite reach the sum of the mountains. It's like realizing that your aspirations are perhaps too much like trying to climb a mountain on a pogo stick, exhilarating yet utterly ridiculous. On one side of this increasing spectacle, you hear nearby chatter, the murmuring of merchants haggling like they're reasoned lawyers at a ridiculously low-budget courtroom parody. People strolling through the sandstone streets, oblivious to the cracks in the monument towering above them, engage in lively debates about everything, including whose camel is the fastest, because clearly that's a pressing matter. As you wander through the market, you might catch a smell so enticing it could perfume your dreams. Spices mingling with the scent of fresh dates, inviting you to indulge just one more time. Is that not similar to the temptation one feels when the dessert tray arrives at dinner parties, and you'd swear it's calling your name? Could it be a subtle reminder that all earthly creations, much like those seemingly timeless sweets, have their end? Yet, back at the statue, you can't help but feel a sense of awe. It rises defiantly against the sky, but nature, like your procrastinating cousin, has begun to take its toll. The cracks appear as if the statue has endured the inability to take life seriously, perhaps having the burden of too many expectations placed upon its stony shoulders. A representative of the human experience, wouldn't you agree? Who hasn't experienced that unsettling realization when your grand dreams face the harsh light of reality and you find yourself frantically scrambling for Plan B, or maybe even Z? Take a closer look at the ground beneath your feet. There lies a mosaic, a long-forgotten story etched in shards, urging you to remember the strength of community and the beauty of imperfection. How many times in our hustle for perfection do we forget that we are, at our core, beautifully flawed beings, just like that weathered statue? As you lean against the cool stone, a faded inscription catches your eye. Oh man, aspire high, but remain grounded. It's a bit like your best friend who tries to give you life advice while holding a half-eaten burger. It's wiser than it sounds at first. This verse reminds those projecting far into the sky also not to overlook the ground they stand upon. For what is a high goal without the humble earth to support it? While gazing at the grand, crumbling figure, the towering sentinel seems to wink, as though saying, I, too, have endured it all. Time, weather, and judgment. Perhaps this is your cue to laugh at your worries. After all, you're reminded that it's okay to embrace not just your strength, but your frailty as well. Now, picture the laughter echoing through the streets. A child scampers past, maybe just a little too enthusiastic, and crashes into a merchant selling delicate glass wares. Suddenly, a cacophony of giggles and gasps erupts. Just as the villagers rally around the toppled wares, much like friends clustering around the unfortunate soul who has tripped and face-planted at a family gathering, you witness them picking each other up, one laugh at a time, embodying the resilience admired in stories long past. And amid this chaos, don't you think the universe, with all its sarcasm, is whispering how these perfectly cracked moments hold together the fabric of humanity? Just like that wise inscription on the iconic statue, perhaps we're all just temporary visitors on this bewildering voyage of life, raising cups to the fragility of existence while still reaching for the stars. As the evening draws to a close, the colors of the sky,
Rich oranges and deep blues provide a backdrop for reflections that are daunting yet invigorating. You begin to smile, imagining how, in staying grounded, embracing imperfections can earn you stories worth telling, even if that story includes a day spent simply admiring a cracked colossus. So, as sleepy whispers claim you and dreams dance on the edges of consciousness,
hold tight to the lessons learned. A blend of humble aspirations and amusing realities shape us. May you awaken tomorrow feeling renewed, like that ever-deteriorating statue reimagined anew, wearing your cracks like a badge of honor. Remember, you're here, human, imperfect, and perfectly enough. As we gently transition from this chapter, may the echoes of the monument remind you that every crack, every laugh, and every moment we embrace adds to our beautifully unique tapestry of life. If tonight's journey into a world of crumbling giants and growing humility warmed your heart as freshly baked bread does when it meets melted butter, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with friends who might enjoy a chuckle or two. But only if you truly did enjoy it. Until we embark once more on another whimsical journey through time, may your dreams be peaceful and your heart light. Sleep tight, dear friends, for tomorrow awaits with all the potential of a new dawn, where every crack might just lead to something extraordinary. Chapter 25, Kneeling in a Legacy of Love. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Imagine, if you will, a time when the world seemed like it had more craters than a lousy pizza you grabbed from a convenience store after a long day. It's 610 CE, a time when sandals were the height of fashion and technology consisted of wooden carts and perhaps a good joke about an over-enthusiastic camel. Tonight, we'll dive into something sweeter than a honeycomb and softer than a well-worn prayer mat. The pure, unfiltered essence of kindness and respect towards one's parents amidst the complexities of life in the early Islamic period. But let me ask you, have you ever felt like your parents were trying to spoil your fun right when you were about to achieve greatness? Or maybe you found yourself kneeling before them, realizing that your persuasive arguments were no match for a well-timed "because I said so." Get ready, because tonight we're talking about a young person who's decided to honor their parents, quite literally, in the most humbling and delightful ways imaginable. Congratulations! You've just woken up in 610 CE, where you're surrounded by the ambient chaos of the early Islamic civilization blossoming around you. The scent of spices wafts through the air, mingling with the sounds of bubbling laughter and whispers of late-afternoon prayer drifting through the bustling market stalls. Here, amidst the clamor of life, the respect for elders takes center stage, almost like the lead singer at your favorite concert, and you actually want to listen. Picture this. You find yourself in a modest household, where the walls breathe stories of love, devotion, and perhaps the occasional mishap involving a rogue goat or two. The elderly couple before you, their skin adorned by lines that tell tales richer than any storybook, look at you with a blend of gratitude and nostalgia. Their hands, weathered yet gentle, rest on their knees, waiting. And there you are, kneeling before them, your heart as full as a cup of sweet milk, while in your mind 1,000 romanticized visions of perseverance dance like fireflies on a summer evening. As you kneel, you can't help but remember the time you tried to impress your mother with your culinary skills. Let's just say the results were interesting, much like a camel attempting to tango. The food tasted better after it was buried under a mountain of spices, and perhaps just enough charm. But here, in this moment of service, your gestures toward your parents speak louder than any trendy Instagram post could. Life back then wasn't always easy. The world around you is a tapestry of hardships and triumphs woven together with the gold threads of humanity. You witness merchants hustling for every dinar,
all while elder sages share whispers of wisdom as their eyes twinkle like stars in the abyss of the night sky. It's important to remember that showing respect and kindness to your parents wasn't just a quaint tradition back in 610 CE. It was deeply rooted in the moral fabric of society. How many times do we hear tales of beloved elders who shaped the future with their tales of triumph, just like a parent holding up a sagging bookshelf of memories? The lessons passed down over a simple feast, where laughter shared around the table was even more valuable than the meal itself, became the foundation of future generations. But while you lean into this beautiful moment, don't forget how relatable it is today. Have you ever noticed how, during family gatherings, your parents transform into these amusing and sometimes slightly embarrassing versions of their younger selves? There's something magical about a mother reliving past glories, or an elderly father showing off stories that leave you cringing and giggling all at once. Even as you attempt to rise from your kneeling position, you might hear the melodious utterances of their wise counsel, reminding you of kindness in a world that sometimes feels overwhelmed with chaos. It's like getting an unexpected text from an old friend saying, "Hey, remember when we tried that hot sauce challenge and regretted half our lives?" It showcases the bond you share, the essence of laughter and humility stitched together in a fabric of love. As we observe the elderly couple, it becomes a lesson imparted through their gnarled hands that have nurtured, disciplined, and embraced moments of laughter and tears alike. They never demanded perfection. They merely asked for presence, for respect, for the acknowledgement that no amount of worldly success equates to the value of honor towards one's parents. The streets come alive with camaraderie and warmth, as neighbors exchange greetings and the scent of bubbling lentil stew mingles with the evening gloom. It is all too familiar. A busy marketplace, families gathering, gentle teasing. Honoring parents feels much less like a chore and more like a rite of passage. And, let's be real, who doesn't want to be part of an epic saga where everyone, young and old, joins this adventure to uphold dignity and respect? So, as the sun dips lower in the sky, painting the horizon in hues of oranges and deep blues, you find comfort in knowing that your small acts of service can create ripples of kindness in the world. Kneeling before the elderly couple, you feel it. A connection transcending time, echoing through the ages like a heartfelt thank you that resonates throughout the fabric of humanity. Your heart swells, for it's in these humble moments that you find the greatest teachings, reminding you that kindness is timeless, ripe with the sweetness of life itself. As the shadows stretch longer and the stars begin to peek out of their slumber, you understand this. What goes around comes around. The stories shared, the laughs exchanged, and the moments cherished reflect the tapestry of existence, whispering, "Carry forth this legacy, dear one." With a gentle smile of acceptance, you rise, feeling a little taller, more connected, ready to weave your thread into this beautiful, ever-evolving tale of love, respect, and the great legacy of honoring parents in a chaotic yet endearing world. As we gently close this chapter, may you find comfort in the warmth of familial ties, and may the lessons of kindness echo in your heart, leading you to embrace the precious connections that life brings your way. If you've enjoyed this whimsical dive into a world of love framed by the wisdom of elders, don't forget to like, subscribe, and perhaps share this journey with a friend, but only if your heart feels inclined. Until we embark on another enchanting adventure together, sleep sweetly, and may your dreams be filled with the joyous laughter of those you hold dear. And now, dear friend, as we drift away from the glowing halls, bustling markets, clumsy scribes, cosmic musings, and the symphony of voices echoing through centuries, let your breath soften and your shoulders fall gently into rest. Tonight, you walked beside people who faced challenges far heavier than ours: harsh deserts, long nights, aching uncertainty, and the constant effort of memorizing, reciting, recording, and preserving sacred words with nothing but lantern light,
reed pens, and sheer determination. Yet even in their struggle, we saw the sparks of humor: camels arguing about shade, scribes drowning in ink stains, elders hiccuping through verses, and children giggling at every tiny mistake. Unveiling the divine secrets. Their world wasn't easy. Their roads were rough, their tools simple, their days unpredictable. But they endured with hearts full of devotion and minds open to wisdom. They laughed, they stumbled, they learned, and, somehow, they carried a divine message forward with extraordinary resilience. In their imperfections, we found beauty. In their persistence, we found strength. And in their shared struggle, we found a reminder of what it truly means to be human. As you lie here tonight, surrounded by warmth, softness, clean light, and the luxury of rest, take a moment to feel grateful. Grateful for comfort they never had. Grateful for knowledge available without exhaustion. Grateful for a life where you don't need to outrun sandstorms, bargain with dramatic merchants, or memorize sacred text by firelight unless you choose to. Let their resilience inspire you. Let their laughter lighten whatever burdens you carried today. And let their devotion remind you that meaning often emerges from the simplest, most unexpected moments. Now, breathe slowly. Let the echoes of their voices fade into a calming hush. Let your mind settle into stillness. You've journeyed far enough for tonight. Rest deeply, peacefully, softly. Good night, dear traveler.